with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just too. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just too. You do this thing when you're biting your lip, it's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you.
Afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is good. After the result we just had, I presume, and that goal by Van der Ven, which I will go into, I presume everyone is at least happy with Spurs at the moment. We got a very important game coming up. Must say, things look good in the previous game and we will take it from there. I think the thing we need to see is performing with Copenhagen is one thing. Very good result. Some players played some very good football. But I think a few of us do need to look on it. It was Copenhagen. Now, I'm not going to take it out of it that we didn't play well, whatever else. But it's not as though we just went and smashed Real Madrid. But it was definitely a good win, and it was definitely a win that we definitely needed, especially after that absolute abysmal performance against Chelsea. And at the end of the day, it's who we were playing, it's who we had to beat, and we'd done our bloody job. And I think we got the job done respectable. I mean, I think the weirdest thing in that game for me, it had to be... I actually thought we looked more solid on the pitch when Johnson got sent off. Now, I fear everybody knows I ain't Johnson's biggest fan. Not at all. But I think we actually looked more cool, calm, and calculated when we definitely went into a more counter role sort of thing. I think we actually looked better with him taken off. I mean, if I'm wrong there, someone do tell me, but I think we actually did. I mean, don't get me wrong, got us a goal. But that's one thing I want to question quickly before I say hello to a few people. Who genuinely actually thinks that he meant to plant that straight in the back of the net? Honestly. Because for me, if you have a look at the look on his face, I mean, he wasn't even looking up when he hit it. If you actually have a look on his face after, he was in shock. And it was a bit of a thank God for that look, if you ask me. If you go back, watch it in slow, watch his face. I don't think he meant to put that in the back of the net. I think he meant to put that across as a sweaty, basically, so it could just get tapped in. Now, don't get me wrong, the angle he done it from, with his right foot, getting it in from that angle and everything, brilliant. If that's intended, then I'll take it back. Really good goal to place it in that aspect. But honestly, I do not believe he meant to put that in the back of the net. I think he absolutely screwed it up and it just went his way. So do you know what? It went in the back of the net, so who cares at the end of the day? But honestly, I don't think he meant to score that. Have a look on his face after that goes in the back of the net. He might as well have sat on his hands and knees and prayed and say, thank fuck for that. I don't think he meant to put it in the back of the net. And that's not just picking on the fella. I just genuinely don't. But either way, planted it nicely. And yeah, 4-0, we can't complain. I mean, if we go through some of the stats and everything, which I will do, have a quick look. On the stats, it doesn't say we had the easiest game there. And for me, Copenhagen ain't great. But again, like Bodo, I don't think they're no mugs either. They're games we should be going into and saying we should be winning that. Now, I don't think there is any game out there that you almost have written privilege that you're going to win that game. There should, and I expect it to, but it's like the Premier League. Why the Premier League is the biggest league in the world is because anybody can beat anybody. You have no right to go into a game saying, we are going to win that game. We deserve to win that game. If you go out there and you don't go out there to put it in the back of the net, or if you go out there, the word that I like to use is complacent, that's how you get hurt. And I think every team has done that a few times. I mean, the time you get complacent is the time you get hurt. I mean, the way it used to be when I was a bit younger, that time you go outside and you think nothing of the person and you think, yeah, that's an easy job. That's when you end up unconscious with your mate picking you up off the floor. You don't underestimate. You don't be complacent. And I don't think we were. I think we took the game to them. I, for a change, think we actually made them play the way they did, when usually we seem to be a very... Is reactive the right word? We don't seem to make teams play a certain way. They make us play the way we play. And whenever they put the pressure on us, make us counter-attack, we seem to look better most of the time. But I think that game overall, we took it to them. We won the game. That's what matters at the end of the day. The question is, we got Man United next. Now, Man United are nothing to what they were. And we seem to have a respectable record with them over the past few years. But Man U, they've definitely come up a level or two. And they don't look nowhere near as poor as they did last season. So I do think that is a game we need to go into and we need to be careful. Don't be complacent. Don't be too up yourselves because of the game we just won. And I do think that is going to be a tricky game. And we have also got some other very hard games coming up. I mean, I'll go into a few points. I mean, I always have to write it down because otherwise I fucking forget it. So either way, going to say hello to a couple of people and then just get on with it, basically. And so James, big up to you, mate, and saying big up, Dan. Nice to see you streaming again. Thanks, mate. Appreciated. Yeah, like if you know, had to take some time off because of medical issues. And now back into it, back on my feet, slowly but surely. Going to be doing more streams than that, but not going to be doing hundreds straight away. Just take it one step at a time, but going to be doing significantly more. And yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciated. And Jeff, big up, Dan. Big up to you too. I mean, why it keeps coming up on here with the names like this, I don't know. YouTube just has this thing of doing that now and again. I don't know why. And then you look on another channel and it's got the proper names on there. It just chops and changes. I don't know. YouTube, we know it's a bit of a messed up thing anyway. And also F saying, I can't even pronounce half the names on here. Big up, Dan. Big up to you too. Also saying you can only beat what's in front of you. Exactly. That's what I'm basically saying, mate. We should be beating teams like Copenhagen, but like I just said, you can't go in there complacent. And you're right, you can only beat what is in front of you at the end of the day. And we did, and we've done a bloody good job of it. And Ghost, big up, Dan, big up to you too, mate. Hope everything's good with you. And Rodney Martin, big up. we can get much better at home. We need to get significantly better at home. I mean, the way we have played at home this season has been abysmal. The way we've played away has got us where we are in the league, which is sixth. And I can't say I'm too bothered about that. I think it's round about a position that this team should be, basically. It's like under Frank, I think we've done okay. I think there's been one or two games we've actually looked good, significantly good. And I think there's been a couple of games we have looked absolutely shocking. And I think overall we have looked okay. And that's a start. I mean, if you look on okay, considering to what we were last season, that's light years ahead. I mean, last season we was absolute shit. So okay is an improvement. And hopefully we'll see a player coming in January. And then I suppose I think we just have to ride this season out, really, and just take it as it comes. Judge it game by game, see how we do. I mean, I've seen Frank make some good moves. I've seen him make some not so good moves. I think he's made some good subs. I think he's made some bad subs. Overall, again, I think we're doing okay. It's not going to be until the summer that we actually see whether Tottenham as a club, i.e. ENIC, actually mean business. So we're just going to have to ride this one out as it goes. Give the manager his season, see what he can do with us. And yeah, it's not going to be until next summer when the transfer window comes in that we actually see whether Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, ENIC, actually mean business. And that's going to come down to transfers, basically. That's going to come down to what we do. So again, we're just going to have to ride it game by game, judge it game by game. And I think it's fair that you judge it game by game, because what else are you actually meant to do? You're going to have to compare it to the previous season. I know a lot of people are sick to death of still hearing Ange's name. But then how do we compare this season? How do we compare on what we're doing, whether it's really good or not? You're going to have to compare it to the previous season. And then at the end of this season, next season, we can start comparing Frank to Frank on how he's done this season. So when it comes to that, again, like I say, for me, judge it game by game, see how it's going, see how the players are riding it, see how Frank's getting it, see how he's adapting. And then at the end of the season, I think is where we can make a fair judgment. And then again, when it comes to the summer window, that is where we see whether Spurs mean business. Philly 2109, always good to see you, mate. Big up, Dan. Games like Tuesday, playing Spurs' hand as Copenhagen went forward with a man advantage. It's space at the back for Spurs to exploit. Exactly what I'm saying. When we went down to 10 men, we went down to a much more counter-attacking role. I know we was 2-0 up at half-time, but I must admit, when we was 2-0 at half-time, I didn't exactly feel safe. I didn't exactly think we was in trouble, but you know where you're just looking over that shoulder and we are who we are at the end of the day as Spurs. I still wasn't feeling completely safe. Yes, we were better, but you know, as all it takes is that one goal and everything could fall apart, basically. But in that second half, and like I say, when Johnson came off, I think we took him to the cleaners, basically. But I totally agree with what you're saying. When we have to play a counter-attacking style, I think we just look as a better team. I'm still a firm believer of when we've got a majority of the team back, we play a 3-4-2-1 is still how I would like to see us play, is how I think we can play better, because I don't think we have a team that has the full capability yet of using a 4-2-3-1 till its full advantages. But it got us a result at the end of the day. Give me a team where I can play a 4-2-3-1 to its full advantages. That is what I will go for. I mean, give me choice. I'll always play 3 at the back, but it depends on what players you got. And there's a few points in that team where we still look significantly weak when we play against the better teams. And Gary, big up Dan, big up to you too, mate. Nice to get the result. Indeed, it was very nice to get the result. Very, very much we needed that result, because again, Chelsea, I think, do you know what? That is one of the worst games I have seen us play, and that includes with last season under Ange. I think that was as bad as the way we played that game, so pathetic, so spineless. I think that was as bad as any game we played under Ange. The fact that it was 1-0 was the good thing about the game. And that's bad. That is not good. And anyway, like you say, nice to get a result. I don't want to see us build on it. Exactly. Let's get some more offence, win at home, then get it to January with no more injuries. Well, no more injuries would definitely be a big help, wouldn't it? I think a lot of people are now starting to look at it where you would be quite happy to get Kulusevski back in that team, wouldn't you? I know there's going to be some that don't, but I think it's a majority that does. And I think he's definitely a player that you can definitely notice more when he's not there than when he is there. Some would say that don't make no sense. But if you know your football, there's certain players on there that you definitely notice them. Maddison, look at him. We would kill to have him at the moment. Absolutely. I mean, Simmons, for me, has not landed on his feet at all. And bar that last game, I don't think he's looked any better than Odobert or Tell. It's going to take him a bit of time to settle in. Some players, it does take longer to settle in than others. But yeah, he had a good game. And I think that was definitely something he needed as well. Because for me, Simmons was definitely starting to look a bit down in the dumps, basically. Well, come on, mate, get your act together and bring it on, basically. And I think that game was definitely what he needed. But I think he's definitely one that we aren't going to start seeing the best out of him. I think more towards, let's say, the final third of the season. Because I do think he is struggling over here. I think the reason he actually looked that good in that game, obviously when you're playing in Europe to playing in the Premier League, it's two different styles. He had a lot more time on the ball. He had a lot more time to think about what he was doing. Whereas in the Premier League, you don't get that. You don't get that time. The second you get the ball, you got to make a decision on there, basically, on what you want to do. Because let's say 8 times out of 10, you've got 1 or 2 players coming at you fast to get that ball off you and to put pressure on you. I don't think he's used to that sort of style of football. I mean, the Bundesliga, not a bad league at all, but it's definitely not as pressing as the Premier League. I don't think there's many leagues out there that actually are. I think that is one of the things that definitely makes new players struggle a lot, is the amount of pressure on them so quickly. They don't get time to mess about. You don't necessarily get that much time to think. And I think that's one thing that's definitely giving him a hard time. But again, by the final third of the season, I do think we are going to see significant improvements on him. And let's just hope it does go like that. I mean, if it happens sooner, that would definitely be better. But we shall see. And F. Saint saying he will always to celebrate right after taking the shot. So I'm assuming he meant it. Go back and have a look on Johnson's face. I don't think he meant it personally, but only he will know with that one at the end of the day. But go have a look on his face after that goes in the back of the net. To me, that was not a look of, have a look at that, people. That was quality. Because if that was meant, he put it in the back of the net brilliant from the angle he was at. That was more of a, thank God for that look. But that's a personal opinion. And John's well, 007. Good to see you streaming again, Dan. Thanks a lot, mate. Big up to you. And Ryan also saying, big up, Dan and chat. Big up to you, mate. And F. Saying also saying, look at Chelsea. Couldn't beat Carrier-Bag. I know. And then you look at how they absolutely destroyed us. Absolutely destroyed us. If that game would have been 6-0 at the end of it, you wouldn't have really been able to raise an eyelid and say, we didn't deserve to get beaten 6-0. We did. If anything, we did not deserve to get beaten 1-0. We deserved to get beaten at least 4-6-0 in that game. So the positive side of that game is the fact that we only got beat 1-0. And that is not the good part of it. But then they go and struggle against Carrier-Bag. Sunderland went and done them. Or is it just that thing with Chelsea? Is it just that thing that every time we play them, they just absolutely come out there and destroy us? Same as Man City don't like playing Spurs. They don't like doing it. Majority of the time we beat them. We're their bogey team, if you want to call it that. I mean, but with Chelsea, they've just absolutely schooled us over 30 years, basically. Wayne saying, good afternoon, Dan. Good afternoon too, mate. Wouldn't be surprised if Maguire scores a header on Saturday. Like you said, we got to be ready for the battle. Yeah, totally. We got to go into that game and we got to go for the win. We definitely need it. Paul West is saying, good morning, Hotspur Hood. Morning to you too, wherever you are. Morning. What is it? 1:35 here. So wherever you are, mate, morning to you. Tom saying, big up, Dan, big up to you too. And Paul also saying, counter-attacking football is our style. I still think it is. I still think it's how we look best. I don't think nothing has changed in that aspect over the past 2 years. We've got better players in certain positions, but we still not have got that team to cover a 4-2-3-1 properly. Not in my opinion. Nothing has changed there. Sam, big up to you, mate. Big up, Dan. What would you experiment with playing VDV as a left wing or striker? No, I wouldn't. I mean, one thing I did actually mention last season, and for, if I remember right, for Dutch under-21s, Van der Ven did also play as a left back and a wing back, more of a left back style, basically. And you do look at him and you do think, with the pace he's got on him, not the best passer of the ball, definitely not the worst passer of the ball. I can't really say I've seen anything of his crossing really to make a judgment there. But the way he put that in the back of the net as well, you'd have thought he was a striker. And I don't know. In due time, I wouldn't think it'd be the worst idea to give him a go as a wing back if we played basically 3 at the back and used wing backs. And as long as we'd have a solid 3 there, I don't think that would be a bad experiment for sure. I mean, come on, look at the pace the man has got on him. He's got power on him as well. He's also got stamina on him. I don't think you're going to see the injuries off him. I mean, that was blatantly down to Ange football. But then on the other side, you see him go as a wing back or on the left back to press forward. You're going to see a lot more running back and forth off him. Maybe his hamstrings just aren't that good with that. But the fact that he isn't having to go up to the halfway line game after game and come sprinting back every 5 minutes to cover the arse, I don't know. I don't think it'd be the worst idea to give it a go. But then you got to look at that and you think, what sort of game would you give that a go in? What game would we try that? Would it be a game where Adogie's out, Spence is out, and we've got Danzo, Dragusin back in there, and we could possibly take that chance as such? Because I think if we've got our full defence, and we've got Danzo, Romero, Dragusin, Van der Ven, you can even say Ben Davis. I think I'd rather give it with Dragusin, Danzo, and Romero at the back, with Van der Ven on the left, or depending how you do it, 4 at the back, with, say, Danzo and Romero there, with VDV on the left. I think I'd definitely rather give that a go than Ben Davis there. I mean, done and dusted is a bit of an understatement with that fella. So I don't think it would actually be the worst idea to experiment and give that a go. But the question would be, what one do you give that a go in? I think that's the one where you question it. Do you do it because you have to, or do you do it because you genuinely want to do that? And Tonk here, mate, you've just hit a nail on the head there for me. That was something I was going to say later. I actually spoke to a couple of my mates after that game, and what you're saying here, Moani brought down that ball like Berbatov. That is exactly what I said during that game to my wife, and when I spoke to a couple of my mates after. I said, not in football as a whole, but at Spurs, the way Moani controlled that ball, the fact that he even still went for it, fair play, but the way he actually controlled that ball, I said exactly the same thing. I have not seen a player at Spurs control a ball like that since Berbatov. I am 110% with you on that. That is exactly what I said to my missus, and that is exactly what I said to a couple of people on the phone afterwards on the game. He controlled that excellent. He really did. And again, I haven't seen a player at Spurs with the capability of doing that since Bergvall used to do it, just game in, game out. I mean, I still say Berbatov is one of, if not the most skillful player we've had at Spurs. I know a lot of people will question that as such. I mean, he's one of the laziest bastards you ever see, but as soon as he got that ball, he knew what he was doing, without a doubt. He was a player that I must admit, when he went to Man U, I was gutted. That was one player I was pissed to see the back of, basically. I did not want to see that happen. Excellent player. And I do think over due time, he's actually been a very underrated player because he really doesn't get mentioned that much at all. And for me, excellent player. What would you do to have a player like that at Spurs now? You'd kill for that all day long. And Tom's saying that Simmons' turn and passes were amazing, but he definitely wants to be the star man. Yeah, I think he's passing that, and I know what bit you're on about. It was brilliant, but do you think what are you basically saying that you think he's that one that wants to hang on to that ball that longer and do that excellent pass instead of that easy pass as such, instead of that direct pass? I don't know. I can't say I've seen enough in play to really make that judgment on him. But then again, if he's an out and out flair player, technically gifted player, and whatever, you do find a lot of them seem to do that. So I think only time will tell with that. Like, watch a few more games and we can see. And Kick TV, big up to you. This season was always going to be difficult. For sure it was. I said expect a lot of draws, but at least we have a base now for improvement. We need signings, 500 million short of 8 players. Yeah, well, we've said that for for a while, haven't we? And last bit I'll say here is Felly saying, no, I can't even read your fucking name, mate, so I won't even try. I'm not convinced yet. I'm not convinced yet if we're back until we beat PSG because we always beat Man U. I can see where you're coming from, but again, we can only win when we're playing again. I mean, really, when it comes down to playing PSG, I mean, seriously, I think that is a game you can go into, and there's nothing wrong with being positive, yeah? There's nothing wrong with it. But if we're going to be realistic, that's one of those games where you go into that and you come out of that losing 1-0 and you're sort of like, I can deal with that one. I mean, PSG do look good. I mean, Bayern Munich done quite nicely the other night. Start of the season, I said Bayern Munich are my favourites for the Champions League this year. No, their defence isn't spectacular, but Bayern Munich, they do look very good. I mean, but playing PSG, I mean, for me, no game is free as such, but I think it's a game you can look on where it is a bit of a free game as such. Because if we go in there and win that, you're going to be gobsmacked and you are going to be happy as a pig in shit. But you go and lose that game, as long as we don't get smashed 4-0, whatever, and we actually put some fucking effort in there, unlike that Chelsea game, you're going to walk off of that and just think it. Me personally, I will walk off with that. If we get done 3-1, but we have put the effort in, we've gone for the game, I will walk off on that and just, do you know what? It is what it is. I can deal with that one. I mean, PSG are light years ahead of what we are. But Man United are not. So Man United is one I want to take it to, and I want to win that game as well. And Tom also saying, and let's get Mano. Hang on a sec, I just got a message here. Let me just check that. Until 3, and this is that'd be fine. I mean, I don't know if I'll be on here that long, mate, but what I will do is 1 second here. Let me just do this. If I'm still on at that time, mate, you're more than welcome. Let me just type that. Yeah, sorry about that. Just had to put a message over to someone there. Yeah, Manu, don't think that'd be a bad call with us. And you know what, Tom, I said this the other day as well. Another message. Good. Yeah, jump on then. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, we do look better with Destiny, without a doubt. I do agree with that one. So, you know, we do look better with that one, I must admit. And I think it's when we need to be more defensive, Spence is definitely the better player to have that. And but I think we do definitely look better when we're going to play a counter-attacking play with a Dogi there, because he is a better player at getting forward with a ball. And again, he's another one like Porro. He is not a defensive-minded player. He's not a left back. He's a left wing back. Exactly the same as Porro. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I actually feel for Porro at the moment, because he does get picked on in the games, in my opinion. I mean, when we play that 4-2-3-1 properly, straight away the other team looks at it, right, take Kudus out of the game, focus that ball down the flank on Porro, because his defending is not good. Okay, some can say his defending has got better, but he's still a poor defensive player. Why? Because he is not a defensive-minded player. He is a player that gets that ball as a wing-back and wants to get forward with it. And he gets picked on a hell of a lot. That's another reason why I still think we would play better with 3 at the back using both wing-backs. But I do agree with what you're saying. With Udogie, I do think we do definitely look better at getting forward with the ball, basically, because he's better at it than Spence. And Spence is also on the left side when he's right-footed there. He does have to cut in a lot, but I don't think he's as good at going forward as Udogie. Udogie, if he could cross that ball a bit better, I think he needs a bit of practice in that one. He could definitely turn up a lot better. I mean, when he was in Italy, playing as on the left wing or basically as a wing back, or then using him going forward, he looked light years better than what he has done at Spurs, in my personal opinion. So points I want to get to. Van der Ven. Well. What a goal that was. You can't take that away from the man in any means or manner. What a fucking goal that was. I mean, big up, Brian. And I think the question a lot of people asked for that straight after, was that better than Son's goal? For me, it was. Why? Because he basically got the ball, when I say the edge of his box, literally on the line of his box. I think if I added it up right, if we want to include the keeper, that's 7 players he went by. Running up there, if I remember correctly, it was 6, and then he done the keeper. I mean, the way he put that in the back of the net, you could think he's a striker. But that was shocking how fast he got that up there. I mean, how fast is that fella? I mean, strikers would kill to have that pace. He's a solid player. And from what I've read, we're looking at giving him a new contract. Give that fella a new fucking contract, for God or luck. I mean, because if I remember correctly, someone do tell me if I'm wrong again, he's actually on less money than Archie Gray. Think about that. If I'm right with that, last time I saw he was on about 60, 65 and Archie Gray on about 75. Give or take 5k. And how is that even possible? I mean, we have to get a new contract on him. We have to put a buyout clause on there. Because one thing I'm definitely worried about with Van der Ven is, I'm just going to be realistic here, yeah? If he carries on playing the way he has all season, which is 9 out of 10 have been very good games. I think he's been one of our most consistent players. Bar that game against Chelsea where everyone was shit. You do know that Real Madrid are going to come looking for him. It's already all over the news. Real Madrid they're going to come looking for him, and they're going to be having to pay a lot of money, I know, but we all know Real Madrid have the capability of doing that one way or another. I also think Man City will definitely be looking at him, and a team like Bayern Munich wouldn't surprise me either, because they do need a defender there, a good one. And you do know the big boys are going to come for this player. They are. Whether people want to say we don't want to be a selling team, we don't want to be this, we don't want to do that. How many times do you win a fight against Real Madrid? It's one I'm definitely worried about. So we definitely need to sort his contract out there and definitely put at least a buyout clause of 100 million on there. No two ways about it. And with that one, it's just, you know what? That last game we had with Copenhagen, if I'm going to be honest here, I know there's going to be some who disagree with that one. I don't even think that was one of his best games overall. I mean, Romero actually covered his ass about 3 separate occasions that I can think of there. And I don't think that was his greatest game. But that goal he scored, just totally, anything he did wrong, just totally went over any mistakes he had made during the game. And got a guest here, bring him on as well. And I'll see you in a minute. You're right, mate. I'm just saying,
no see,
yeah, long time no see. What's that? Day off of work?
Yeah. I took in not sick leave. I guess we have this. You probably also have this thing. I don't know how to call it in English, but you demand to have a free day. I had some things to take care of today, so yeah, a day off.
What's that? Getting ready for the platinum handcuffs?
Not yet, mate. That's in half a year, so I still have a bit of freedom.
Still got plenty of time with no ball and chain, mind you. Ball and chain's being a Spurs supporter as well, isn't it? You're sort of fucked if you do, fucked if you don't, really, ain't you? Yeah, what I've just said about Van de Ven, I know there's going to be a lot of people who disagree on this one. Yeah, I don't think in that last game that was one of his better games overall. Yeah, not saying he had a bad game, but I think Romero covered his ass quite nicely. And apart from that goal, I don't think I'd have rated him as more than a 6, if I'm going to be honest. I know there's going to be people who just totally deny that, whatever, and that, because you're just looking at that goal, and that goal on its own gives him an extra 4 points, doesn't it? But yeah. I honestly don't think he had his best game. I don't think that was one of his better games. What do you think with that, with Van de Ven? Or am I just making something out of nothing here? Did I see it?
Listen, I think Copenhagen didn't really threaten us at all until the red card. They barely had anything meaningful in the attacking third, right? So I don't even think he had the occasion to show his skill. He was just doing basic things, just passing the ball around, one cleanup here or there. Maybe one mistake or something. So yeah, I agree. Before the goal, it wasn't a special performance, but it wasn't bad either, right? It wasn't like he was, making mistakes every single occasion he got, right? No. So yeah, I would also give him a 6 because a 6 is a okay performance for me, right? A 6, you don't fuck up, but you don't do anything special, right?
Nothing special. You've had a respectable game, basically.
Yeah.
Where some think a 6 is actually a bad game as such. For me, a 6 is you've done all right.
Yeah, same. I completely agreed. But as you said, the goal brings him up to a fucking 9, right? Sorry, but
I think the goal you can say brings him up to an 11 almost, basically, doesn't it? I mean, that goal. I mean, what the fuck went on there? I mean, was that just pure pace, or was it just people? Pace and power, because he wasn't skill as such. That was just pace and power. Do you think that was that they did? I mean, to me, it looked like none of them even had the bottle to attempt to tackle him.
I think they didn't expect him to go as fast as he did, right? Because let's be honest, the guy is deceptively quick for the size he is, right? And I bet they probably, as football fans, saw the highlights of maybe once or twice him, bolting it and taking a ball off a player, right? But I don't think they assume that he can do that with a ball at his feet, right? So yeah, I think they just didn't expect, and I honestly think as soon as he went through the biggest batch of them, because I think they just kind of tried to swarm to him. He just kicked the ball and just bolted, and he basically left the whole team behind, right? And as soon as he was free in the opposition half, there was no one catching him up, right? So yeah,
I admitted it. Basically, he got to a certain point and then just thought "fuck it" and went for it, didn't he?
Yeah,
he even basically said that, didn't he? Maybe not as blunt and blatant as that, but that's pretty much how I translated what he said. It's like he looked over his shoulder and just, why not? I mean, he was already 3-0 up, basically, wasn't it? So he had nothing to lose.
No, that was the third goal. His goal was the third one.
Oh, right? Third goal. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. But it's nevertheless, right? Honestly, I think what happened there was also a good thing to happen, for the game itself, because 2-0, they get one lucky set piece. It's 2-1. We are 10 men down, and you kind of start getting a bit shaky, right? But then what he did, it was 5 minutes after the red card, right? And it basically killed the game, because honestly, if I was a Copenhagen player and seen an opposition center back do this to my team, I would be fuck it, man. Just just get me out of get me out of this pitch, right? I want to go home.
It's like that night in the pub where you're trying it on with, let's say, a rate 3, and you get blown out. You're just like, do you know what? I ain't going out for a few weeks, and it's just to get done by your defender like that is. But do you think? I mean, the last time go on that one, do you think that was better than Son's goal? Because this is the question. I've seen videos of it put next to each other and everything else and that. And do you think that was you think that was better than Son's goal? Because they were definitely the same sort of thing, weren't they?
I would say that on a technical point of view, right? Like the technique that Son employed, like he actually dribbled past 2 or 3 players, right? Whereas I think Van de Ven just ran. I'm not saying it was so impressive, right? I'm not trying to downplay it or anything, right? But I think Son, from the technical point of view, was better, right? But the fact that Mickey Van de Ven is a centre back just raises it up.
And literally
right?
did it on his box, basically. He was literally on that line, wasn't he?
Yeah, so like I would slightly edge it towards Mickey Van de Ven, but purely from like the technical point of view, I think Sons was more impressive in terms of like how he actually got through the pitch, right? Because like I feel like there was no one really trying to tackle Mickey Van de Ven. They just kind of got run past, right? Whereas when you watch that Burnley highlight, they actually tried to take him out on 1 or 2 occasions, right? And he just jumped over one guy and then just knocked the ball past the other guy and dribbled past, right? So I think, yeah, but the fact that Mickey Van de Ven is a centre back and the finish, by the way, like what the fuck was that, right? I was like, when I saw him run, right, I was like, flabbergasted, right? But what I'm seeing, but then I was like, yeah, he will probably fuck up the finish or try to pass it, right? And he just fucking thunder-canted it into the left bottom corner, right? And I was like, man, Jesus, I wish our strikers had the finishing ability like that, right?
You wish our strikers could do something, let alone something like that. I mean, so I think what you're basically saying is, I think it's pretty much the way I see this one as well. One was pace and skill.
Yeah.
The other was pace and power.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that's the way to look at it. But just the way that he's a defender and he got it from there, I think it just takes that one step slightly ahead of Son's goal. Yeah. Just like, when the fuck do you ever see a defender do that? I mean, when do you see a player do that? Let alone
a player, let alone a centre back, right?
Yeah. I mean, other thing I want to go to then with that game. I mean, there's plenty I can bring up on here and plenty I'm going to, yeah. Richarlison. What a crock. Let's just say it how it is. What a crock of shit that is. I mean, honestly. I mean, there's that bit of... I mean, people use this word empathy, yeah? I mean, I don't even know how to translate the word properly, if I'm going to be honest. It's not a word I'm best with, yeah? I mean, the look on his face after he fucked that penalty right up, you're just... For me, he shouldn't have even took the penalty.
Yeah, agreed.
We were 3-0 up, and obviously every goal helps, whatever, and that. But out of just, I think he should have let Dane take that penalty.
Agreed.
And you could see Danzo was already had his arm on him, like, don't worry, mate, it is what it is, sort of thing. He's got to take it and that. I don't even think he should have took the penalty, personally. Agreed. And I just think he just proved again, mate, that fella's got to go.
Yeah.
He just ain't got
it. One more time someone tries to defend him, please, because like the beginning of the season, 2 goals against Burnley, and again the whole crew just comes out of the shadow and they're like, oh, see Richarlison, he can score world-class goals. Like you will see, this is the season when he kicks on, right? And like, no, he's just a shit player. I wanted to say a shit striker. He's just a shit footballer, right? Just as the sooner we accept that, the better, right? And I honestly think that now with... listen, Solanke is not much better than him, right? But I personally prefer to have Solanke in the team, right?
I agree.
I think Solanke is stronger than him. I think he's like back towards the goal play is better than...
better target man. Definitely
he's a better target man, right? And I think... I don't have evidence on that, right? Because this will be just my like personal opinion, but I think if we actually use Solanke to his strengths, which is crossing the ball and allowing him to take headers, I think he will score a few goals. I'm not saying it will be anything special, right? But I think under Ange, he was basically the sacrificial lamb, false nine, like bullshit kind of thing, right? But I think with how we play, with the amount of crosses we put in, I think this will suit Solanke's game more. And like if we put crosses in and Richarlison is in the middle of the box, like he's getting pocketed by the centre backs, right? Like it doesn't have to be Saliba or Gabriel to pocket him. It's like fucking Tarkowski will eat him up for dinner, right? Like, but that's the truth. And I'm not saying Tarkowski, by the way, is a good defender. I think he will give Solanke a hard time to do anything, right? But I see more probability of Solanke winning a header from a cross than Richarlison, right? I just don't think he's a good player. I just think it's like, what's the saying? It's a big fish in a small pond, and he's like a small fish in a big pond, right? I would call it that way, right? I think he's just not good enough for us, right? If you want to do something, then we should sell him. And especially when we have Muani and Solanke, right? We have 2 strikers in the team. There's no need for him, right? And we have Dane Scarlett as
some saying here even they think Dane Scarlett should start in front of him.
I would give him a chance, definitely. I would give Scarlett a chance against, like, I don't want to say, because I don't think we will have like easier opposition, right? Because like even games against like Sunderland or something will be tough games, right? So I'm not sure when I would give Scarlett a chance, but I would give him a chance in front of like Richarlison to show what he can do, right?
Yeah, I mean, because he ain't going to be no worse, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah,
you ain't going to be worse. I just think he's fucking awful. I mean, don't get me wrong, goal he scored at the start of the season. Look, one other question I want to ask you then, yeah? I mean, I know it's going back on what I've been talking about, but it seems I've got different person's opinion here. Johnson, did he mean to put that in the back of the net? Now, for me, when you look at his face after he put that in the back of the net, now don't get me wrong, the angle he done it from and everything, if that was meant, then actually that was really good. But if you look at his face after he scored that goal, that was a thank God.
There wasn't much confidence.
That was a thank God for that look. Not no none of that shit. That was a like, whew, sort of like a thing. What do you think on that? Or am I just being raw with him here?
I think he meant to score a goal. I just don't think I don't think he was confident in his finish, right? So basically he was like, I will try my best. And when it ended up in the back of the net, he was like, thank God it did, right? Because like he knew if he fucks that up, again,
because he had the perfect chance to sweat it across, basically, didn't he?
Yeah, he could score it. He could, not score it. He could pass it to Odobert, right? And Odobert would tap it in. So, yeah, it was a riskier thing he did, right? But I just think it was a sigh of relief that the finish that he meant ended up in the back of the net. I think he meant to finish, right? But I don't think he was confident in what he was doing, right?
Do you know what? That actually makes some good sense. Yeah. I half back down on that. I can believe it. But then there's that other side of me. I can totally believe it that he absolutely fucked the cross up. And it just went right for him. Yeah. So do you know what? I'll back off a bit on it and I'll just go, do you know what? I can believe either side of that one. But it's just the look on his face afterward where that's wiping the sweat off his head. Not a everybody shut up sort of look, sort of. Yeah. I mean, I must admit as well, I thought Odobert, I think that's the best I've seen him play for Spurs. And even in the first half, I thought Odobert had quite a solid game overall, if I'm going to be honest. I thought he had a good game. I mean, if we're going to go by his standards, he had a spectacular game. But I also like the way he put it in the back of the net, because the way that Moane bloody controlled that ball. Like someone said on here, it was exactly what I said to my mates. I haven't seen someone do that at Spurs since Berbatov, basically.
Yeah.
I still think Odobert put that in the back of the net very nicely, because I think there's a lot of players there that would have gone and put their laces through the ball and put it over the net.
Yeah. Listen, am I happy that Odobert is our left winger? Not really, right? But
no.
I kind of back what Stel said, right? With the options that we have right now, right? Because I want us to buy a left winger. Let's get that out of the way, right? I want us to buy a left winger. I want someone better than Odobert, right? But with the options that we have right now, I back what Stelios said, which is, I think we need to decide on the player and give him a run of games, right? Because this constant chopping and changing, playing Odobert, then Tel, then Richarlison left, then someone else left, then Simons left, then someone else, and coming back to Odobert, I don't think it helps the players, right? And I'm not happy that Odobert is the option, but I think he's the best option that we have on the left, or at least he has a severe lack of finishing, right? Severe lack of end product. Let's put it straight, right? I think he I think he's doing like bits and pieces before getting into the box. Then he gets into the box and the end product isn't there, right? But neither is with Tell and neither is with other left wing options, right? And I think when it comes to like dribbling and carrying the ball, Odobert is okay, right? So yeah, I would put it that way. I think he deserves a couple of games. I'm not happy that he's the static option, but
the better
out of the options
that
we have right now at this current moment, I would give him the chance, right?
I mean, that's why for me, I would still use 3 at the back because we've got a crap option on the left. Odobert, I mean, Kudus out on the right gets marked out game by game basically, and Porro gets focused on basically. That's why I just still think a 3-4-2-1 works better because you take out the problem of the left winger, you can get Kudus more in the middle so he don't get focused on so much, and you can also do with Porro. But either way, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But yeah, I did like the way Odobert put that in the back of the net, and I think he deserves a bit of credit for that. Like I said, because I think there are a lot of players on there who would have just spanked that as hard as they could and put it straight over the net. So with where we're going now, I mean, well, just looking back on that game here with a couple of games. I mean, I think Romero had a pretty solid game. Vicario pretty much had nothing to do, basically. I mean, Vicario had it quite simple, really, in that game overall. Yeah. I mean, Bentancur, for me, you could have looked on as man of the match. I think he actually had total control of that game. And another one with that, I think Simmons actually had his best game, basically, for us. I mean, not that he's had a good game for us, basically. I mean, I think he's been as bad as Odobert and Till, if I'm going to be honest. But you do know there is a good player there. I think he had quite a solid game as well. Definitely some good passes on him. Looked a lot more better on the ball. But do you think that's because he was playing in Europe and it's a bit different in Europe, that little bit slower at times, more time on the ball, as to why he's struggling in the Premier League where he just gets no time on the ball and he's not used to that?
Yeah, like, first of all, with like the performances of players against Copenhagen, like, I have to caveat it all with the level of the opposition. Like, they weren't, I think calling them not great is an overstatement. I think they were really bad, right? It was a bad team, right, that we played against. So you have to kind of caveat it, right? But I've said it before the game. No matter the opposition, we need like a statement performance, a statement in terms of like actually showing the fan base that we can play good football and we can score goals, right? Because the biggest criticism was we don't score goals, we play turgid football, right? We are horrible at home, and all these narratives that we're building, right? And I'm not saying one game is enough to put people wrong on the opinion, right? But it's a good start. So I agree that for me, like, Vicario didn't really have much to do, as you said. Although he claimed a few crosses, which I liked. The crosses weren't the best quality, but again, it's a good start, right? It's something. Like, it's
not something he's usually good at, is it?
Yeah. So I kind of take notice of those things, right? And say, okay, you did great here. I hope to see it again, right? Like, that's the approach I have, right? Same thing with Bentancur. Like, he didn't really have much like challenge in the midfield, right? But like the passes he played, and I think he was in the groove of the game, right? And with Simons, by the way, I think what I really liked what he did, he was much more direct, I would say, because like I think like he didn't really take much time on the ball. He was getting the ball, like shifting his way, driving into a pocket and just laying the ball off, right? And I think it was good to see that, right? But I completely agree with the point you made that in Europe, like, the game is generally slower and also less physical. I think the problem for players like Simons and Wirtz and other guys like that, right? Those like kind of like lightweight number 10s, right? Is the fact that most Premier League teams have like a 1.90 meter lump of shit in the middle, right? CDM just twatting them off the pitch, right? This is the issue that
like we've
have,
got
right?
Paulinho
like,
now, basically.
Yeah, we got Paulinho, like Arsenal have Rice, Chelsea have Caicedo, like Liverpool have Gravenberch, and you know, you can go through the list and find on. Like,
and then you look at Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle, like João Gomes for Wolves, even like those like bottom of the table teams, right? Burnley have Granit Xhaka, and other guys like that, right? That they won't give you time of the ball. It's not even that they will take the ball off you, right? But as soon as you get the ball, they will be near you, right? They will be like on you, right? And then you lose the physical battle because you are like 15 centimeters smaller than them and just generally lightweight compared to them, right? So they will easily take the ball off you, right? So I think I'm willing to give Xavi as much time as he needs to adapt, right? Maybe not as much time, right? I'm not talking about like 2 years, but right now I don't like what I'm seeing right now because, like, as you said, physically
he does look fragile, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does look fragile, right?
We've got a few fragile players.
Yeah, but I am willing to give him time, right? I'm willing to see if he can adapt to the pace and to the physicality, right? Because like one thing to avoid what's happening to him right now is just to play 1-2s, right? Just don't hold on to the ball. Like he has to understand that if we are not in a transition, or like if we are not in, like when the opposition is settled, you cannot really take the ball and drive, right? Because then, as I said, like Rice will take the ball off you, or Xhaka will take the ball off you, right? But if we are in a transition, or the opposition is kind of like pulled apart by our wing play, then you can drive, right? But other than that, if you receive the ball, just lay it off. Just be that like creative number 10 type of player, right? And then I think he can do that. I'm not saying he's the best out there, but I think he can adapt, or at least I hope he can adapt, right?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be until like maybe the latter starts of the season, like maybe the final third, final quarter, whatever one you want to look at, that we're actually going to start seeing a significant improvement. But if I don't see some improvement by, let's say, the end of January, I will start asking questions. With what you said there, I totally agree with you. I just think you got it the wrong way round. I don't think it's that they take the ball off you. I think when you're someone like Simmons, Johnson, whatever, it's not that they take the ball off you, they take you off the ball.
Yeah.
I know it sounds a bit different, but I think some will get the picture on what I'm saying. It's not that they have to take, they just sort of get out of the way, boy, and then they go for the ball as such. I mean, and he's not a big fella, and we do have a bit of a problem in our team in certain places where we do have quite a fragile team, i.e. Johnson, Odobert, Tell, not exactly Simmons, not exactly a couple of people you'd be too bothered about if they squared up to you in a pub or whatever. It's more like it's one you sort of go away, go have your cup of coffee.
You know what, Dan, right? I think the best. I remember this quote, right? What was the team that we played in the FA Cup last year under Ange? The 9th tier team that we played against.
I know you're on about now.
Whatever their name was, right?
Yeah.
But they had a midfielder. I think he was like Tom Tanks. We were like taking the piss out of him because he was like the long throw specialist. Like all he was doing was just running around and taking long throws, right? And I've like seen a bit of an interview with him after the game, right? And he was talking about like how it feels to play against like Premier League players, right? And he was saying about being in the midfield. He received the ball and Bissouma ran up to him, right? And he said that Bissouma put his hand on his chest, right? And just twatted him away, just like pushed him away from the ball, right? And this guy wasn't like the smallest out there, right? But he said that like the physicality, like it's hard to imagine how like physically prepared those players are in the Premier League, right? Even the average ones, they are just like physically strong and like, you know, that they don't look like big guys, but they are strong as fuck, right? Oh yeah, Tamworth, right? Yeah, and he said that about Bissouma, right? So Bissouma kind of like is the profile of player I was talking about, like those strong, like number 6 or 8s, right? Just like you don't look at them and feel like hey, you are a strong man or anything, right? You don't look like a power lifter or anything, right? But then the strength that they
got
have,
muscle on him as such.
Yeah, the strength that they have is really something else, right? And then you imagine yourself as like a 1.70 m guy, like a Xavi Simons, right? Or like 1.75 m or however tall he is, right? And then like a 1.90 m Rice runs up to you and he just puts his hand on you, right? And then you struggle for balance, right? Because he isn't like pushing you off the ball as in fouling, but he's just like shoving you away, right? This is something that Xavi Simons needs to learn how to deal with, right?
Yeah, definitely. And it's like other players you can look at it with like that as well, like Bergville as well. I mean, he's another one who I feel gets hyped up a bit too much, sort of thing. I think we've definitely seen improvement in him and that, but he seems to make it forward with the ball, but then just no delivery on the final third, basically. And I do find a lot of the time it's because he just gets barged out of the way, basically. And that is one play. That is why we have been so desperate for a player like Paulinho in there. And I actually think he's been our best signing of the summer, basically.
Yeah,
I think he's the one that's definitely made the most impact as such. Okay, Kudus has looked prettier, this and that, but for me, I think Kudus has done well. But I think there's also games he's been totally marked out of it where we haven't actually been able to get significantly of what he can do as such. Yes, he still scored a goal. Yes, he's still got a couple of assists in that, but I still don't think we're seeing the best out of him where he's getting marked out by 2 or 3 players. Paulinho, for me, I wanted him after his first season at Fulham. And for me, he's been a player that I've been asking for Spurs to get for a while. And you can definitely say he's landed on his feet. I mean, he knew the Premier League like the back of his hand anyway. He's definitely built for it. He gets stuck into it. No, he doesn't make no hassle or nothing, whatever. He just gets the fucking job done, then lets you get on with it. And that is what we've been screaming there for a while, isn't it?
Listen, Dan, be right back for 5 minutes. I need to give my cats food because they are just running around and meowing at me. And it's really
yes, I know what that's like. I've got 3 cats here as well. Well, the wife has 3 cats here, and some of the noises they make at night as well. I'll go into that in a minute.
Be right back. Be right back.
Yeah. So for me, I do think Paulinho has been our buy of the season. Basically, I think he's exactly what we have needed. And with that, let's just hope there's no injuries there because he did have a bit of an injury problem at Bayern Munich. I think that's what gave him a lot of trouble at Bayern Munich. And for me, he's the one that I've definitely been happiest with. If I could only have had one player out the whole lot, Paulinho is the one I think we definitely needed the most as such. So the interesting one is going to be how are we going to go into this game with Man U? Because it's not just Man U we got there. After Man U, we've then got fucking Arsenal. I mean, the Man U game, if I remember right, let me just say it's a 12:30 start. Yeah, that'd be on TNT. That's a 12:30 start. And then Sunday at 4:30, we have Arsenal. I must admit, I am not looking forward to that game. But if we don't go into there and at least put some effort in there, I think you're going to see some fans lose the plot. If we go in there and go in there as fragile and boneless as we did against Chelsea, you're going to see some very pissed off people. Chelsea still had that sort of thing on it. It's Chelsea at the end of the day. They always do us. But you expected so much more of the players. I am not looking forward to that game with Arsenal, I must admit. And then after that, we're away at Paris Saint-Germain. And like I said earlier, I think it's just that game, as long as we put a bit of effort in, you're not going to be too upset if we walk out of that 3-1, 2-0, basically, and that. But we need to get some points behind us on this Champions League one now. Because if I remember in the Champions League, I think we're about, is it 9th or 10th? I think it's 10th we are in the Champions League at the moment. And if I remember right, we need to finish in the top 8. And yeah, we definitely need to start getting some points behind us now. I think that game against Bodo Glimt, we should have had that. We should be winning games like that. Again, no team that you have the written privilege to beat as such, but we should have winning games like that. And I think us losing points on that one could end up basically biting us in the arse. But yeah, with a set of games coming up like that, I mean, we've just had Chelsea, for God's sake. And then you have Man U. And then you have Arsenal. And then you have Paris Saint-Germain. It's going to be a painful month. And at the end of the month, we've got Fulham. At the end of the day, Fulham ain't great, but they definitely ain't no mugs. So it's definitely not a pretty fight coming up at the moment. What's that? You just sorted your cats out?
Yeah.
One thing with cats, quick. Just on the cat side, yeah, I've never been a cat fan, yeah. I'd usually rather stick with a dog. We got Rottweiler and my pet snakes. This little cat we've got, yeah. I mean, I named my cats out of Game of Thrones. It was the deal I made with the wife, basically. If you're getting the cats, I get to name it. It's this little fucking ginger thing called Tyrion we've got, yeah. And the cat, how shall I put it? He's a fucking prick. Simple as that.
Cats can be pricks.
He's a fucking little prick. And I'll tell you why, yeah. Do you know what? During the day, no trouble. When it comes up to later at night, no trouble. Just does his thing. I mean, they both pick on the female cat a bit, like just cut her up sort of thing, to wind it up. But anyway, going back to the point, the little ginger prick. And then it's at night time, say 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning sort of thing. Go to bed a bit late. I mean, my missus, she struggles to sleep until about 5 o'clock. But again, nothing. We look at each other. Do you know what? I'm tired now. Bedtime. I mean, I wear my eye mask. I find it easier to sleep with that. As soon as I put that on and my missus lays down and the light goes off, next thing you know, you start getting these noises. These fucked up noises. And is it a noise that he wants to get laid? Is it a noise that is this? Is it... No. With him, it's just a noise that he's been a fucking prick. And he does it every time without fail. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning, he still won't be making a noise. But that second that we say bedtime and the lights go off, he sits on the edge of the fucking door and starts making noises and everything till we literally chase him around the front room and whatever. And then he shuts up for half hour. And then he decides to walk back in the room and start making noises again. I can't stand the fucking... I mean, what do you expect of Ginger anyway? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's just the cat is a little prick. I can't stand it. I won't deny it. I've wanted to kick it. I haven't, but I've wanted to. I'd be a liar if I said otherwise, but they piss me right off. Do you get any of that trouble with your cats? And then I'll go back to the football. It's just a question with someone else who's got cats.
They kind of take care of each other. Sometimes they make like noises in the night, but it's not like they try to annoy us and get us to wake up. It's rather that they fight with each other, and then you hear some hissing or like growling, or I don't know how to call those noises, right? But sometimes they wake us up, but it's nothing like egregious, right? When we had one cat, because one of them we have for 4 years and the second one for 2 years. Yeah, I think I got it right. Yeah, 4 years and 2 years, right? So when we had the first one, like when he was like alone, he was kind of a dick towards us, but I think it was more about the attention. So yeah, because both of us worked or studied at the time, and we came home late, right? He was kind of trying to get attention from us, so he was kind of sometimes trying to bite us or something, not like maliciously bite to hurt, but he was just jumping on our hand and trying to bite it or something. But I think it was more about the attention. And as soon as we got
you've always got scars on your hand, didn't you?
Yeah, right now my hands are scar free, which is surprising, by the way. But there were periods of time where because I'm like a type of person that when the cat pisses me off, I try to piss it off too. So I tried spinning him around the floor, or just try to scratch his belly, which he doesn't like. I'm a bit of a dickhead in that regard, right? But then he gets pissed off and just jumps on my hand and cuts me or something, right? So I used to have a lot of scars on my hand, but right now I try not to do it, right? So
the last I say of it, and I'll go back to the football. I know people don't want to hear about cats, but that little fucker, I chased it round the front room and wanted to kill it at one point. Yeah, I literally chased him round the front room, and let's just say he's lucky I didn't get hold of him. Yeah, I was just laying there, quite laid back. It was chilled out. It was in the afternoon. I thought, you know what, I'm going to play a game. Okay, I carried on playing my Witcher 3. Yeah, I mean, I've completed that 4 times now, and he was just quite happy sitting on my legs. He was sitting on my thighs. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Okay, all cool. Then the doorbell went. I don't know what it did, but he panicked. When he ran off me, he stuck his claws straight into my thighs on both sides and literally pulled himself off of me like that.
Yeah. Classic.
I got a scar like that down my bloody inside of my thigh, where he literally clawed into me to pull himself off of me, and he screamed, "You fucking little, see you next year." Oh, I couldn't catch him. He's lucky I didn't. I can't stand the fucking things. But yeah, but got a lovely scar down the inside of my leg, and that hurt. Genuinely, that hurt. I don't think people understand how much that hurts until you get one. I mean, I'd have rather got stabbed up the way that bloody hurt. That stung for days. But right, we leave the cats out of it now. Either way, at the end of the day, they're little pricks. We got Man U coming up next. How do you think we're going to go with this game? I mean, I do think we're going to see Kudus back in the game. Is Udogie going to start? Are we definitely going to go with Bentancur and Paulinho in the middle and that? Is it going to be Odegaard on the left? What do you think we're going to do with this Man U game? Because I think we've got more than enough capability of beating them, yeah? We have done lately. I think they've got significantly better and they have got a good three up front. But I don't think they look nothing special as such. I mean, what do you think with this game with Man U? What are our chances? How do we need to go into it?
First of all, I don't get why Man United fans on YouTube are so fucking mouthy about this game. Like, they are confident they are going to beat us. Like, pipe down, old man, right? It's not 2008. Like, I seriously, I don't get it, right? Because like they are talking as if they were Arsenal or City or something like that, right? Or no, City don't yap about the Spurs games because they don't. We just have a juju against them, right? But it's like, it will be a hard game for them. It will be a really hard game for them, right? No matter the form that we are in. At least I think so, right? Listen, I agree with you. I think they have a strong front three, but it's not like individually their team is good. I just don't think there is a good cohesion in the team, right? I don't think they play that well with each other. They are getting into it, right? They are getting the groove in. That's how I think, but I don't think it's like perfect with them. So I think, as you said, in my opinion, we are more than capable of beating them like we did for the past like 7 meetings or something, right? Because I think it's like 7 meetings. But this is the problem. This is the problem, right? You always hear this, like, we are due a win against a team, right? You always hear this. We are due a win against against a team, right? And I honest to God, like, I understand that argument. I understand when they say we are due a win against Spurs, right? But I just don't think, I don't know, like, I'm confident, but not that confident about the game. And in terms of like players, I really like Udogie on the left. I've been saying that it's nothing against Spence, because I think defensively he's really solid. But my issue is when you put a right-footed left back with a right-footed left winger, right? They both want to invert when they play. It's natural for them. They want to
get it onto the best foot, isn't it?
Yeah, they want to use the right leg, right? So that makes us like, narrow on the left side, right? We don't stretch the pitch to the left. And what Udogie gives us, and like against Copenhagen happened plenty of times, that he was overlapping Odegaard and getting like into the box from the side, right? Instead of like Spence does, which is cutting into the midfield and just laying it off to Xavi, right? Because it was Xavi that Spence played with, right? And then Xavi, I don't think his natural position was on the left, like hugging the touchline, which is why I think we weren't balanced as such. And with Odegaard and Udogie, I really like the chemistry they had. Again, they are not the best players out there, right? But I think the chemistry with them was better. And with the midfield. So just to finish quickly, right? With the midfield, I've said it plenty of times. I think individually, when you look at the midfielders that we have, I think Paulinho and Bentancur are the two best midfielders that we have. But I don't think they work well with each other, right? It's stupid, really. But it's not bad, right? But I think, that's my personal opinion, I think we would be better off playing one of them with a bit of a different type of a midfielder near them.
Yeah, so I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, like Paulinho and Sarr or Bergwall. Bergwall can't play against United because of like the concussion thing, right? So like Paulinho with Sarr or Bentancur with Sarr, I think will be a bit more like balanced, in my opinion. Because like Paulinho and Bentancur, two of them individually are the best, but they kind of do a similar job. And we lack the guy doing the different job, right? So as much as I think, like as I said, two of them individually are the best midfielders, I don't think as a pairing there are the best pair that we can put out there. And by the way, to your point with Bissouma, I think Bissouma and Palhinha would be a sick combo. I just think Bissouma burned the bridges. I just think Bissouma won't play for us ever again, right? Because of like the whole disciplinary thing, right?
That is basically, you just took the words out of my mouth, what I was going to say. I mean, no, fine. But this is where I think a few people are starting to realise that. I do think Palhinha and Bentancur, they bring the best out of each other for what they do, yeah? Like, if you need to be that much more pragmatic and defensive, I think them two work very, very well together. I mean, Bentancur, he's actually our player who gets the ball forward the most as well with a passing. But I did say to people that Bentancur did play a DM role and a sort of mix of a deep lying playmaker at Juventus and did do a very good job of it. And when people kept saying we have not got a DM, now obviously nowhere near as good as Palhinha, I kept saying Bentancur is the player we should be playing as more the DM role than Bissouma, because Bissouma hasn't got a clue how to defend. He's always been a box-to-box push forward. Now, you've got two box-to-box. You've got that box-to-box who gets forward a little bit, but comes back and covers the DM more than anything. And then you've got that box-to-box who drops down a little bit, but then charges forward with a ball and then direct ball to whoever needs it. I'd say about 80% of Bissouma's mistakes that he made was because they were all defensive, most of them, in a defensive mind, spur of the moment. He's not a defensive-minded player. And Bissouma, I get it. The too much water under the bridge. He's got to go. The thing he definitely lacks is mentality. His strong mentality isn't great. I mean, to get caught on camera, geared up, hanging out your car, definitely ain't the best thing to do, is it? And at least shut the fucking door and the window, mate, if you're going to go have fun. I don't care what you do off the pitch, just perform on the pitch, but you don't need that to be seen. And then being late and everything like that, I'd have him out there straight away, because one thing I can't handle on like the ADHD side, I have a problem with being late.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it. If I say I'm going to meet you at 1 o'clock, I'm there by 12:30, and I'll sit there on my own for half hour, because I'd rather do that than be 5 minutes late. I cannot handle being late. It drives me up the fucking wall. I can't handle people being late. I am very, very, very funny when it comes to time. Maybe that was my mother and father's fault. If I used to be 30 seconds late, I used to get grounded for 5 days. So maybe that just had an effect on it as well. But I'm very, very funny with time. And yeah, being late and everything and that for training and whatever, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable, basically. Yeah, you're doing a job. You ain't bigger than the fucking job. But I agree with what you're saying. I think if you could get Bissouma doing what he does, because every time he actually did play more of a pressing box to box with us, getting forward with us, like in Europa and that, and 1 or 2 Premier League games, he actually looked like a different player, in my opinion. I know others can't stand him through and through, but he's not a defensive-minded player. And I do agree with you. Put him next to Palhinha, give it a bit of a chance in maybe what game do you do that at the end of the day. But I totally get what you're saying. You've got an attacking-minded player next to a defensive-minded player, and they can both do their job, basically. Whereas with Bentancur and Palhinha, Bentancur's a bit more of a deep-line playmaker. He's got a bit more imagination than Palhinha to pass the ball forward. I mean, he passes the ball forward more than any one of our midfielders, so it says on the stats. Even though when you look on it on the eye, you'd be a bit surprised. It's sort of like, but yeah, them two, they've definitely come back a bit deeper, ain't they? So where is your going forward in midfield, isn't it? I do think they bring the best out of each other as a player, but if you want your midfielders to get forward, they're too pragmatic, the pair of them, to have as your 2 centre mids, in it. Unless you're going for an out-and-out counter, basically defensive against, I don't know, like Paris Saint-Germain, for instance.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Against PSG, I think we should play both of them, right? But I think in games where you kind of want to take like control from time to time, not saying you have to control the whole game, like 65% possession and like just not giving opposition a sniff, right? But I think just having a carrier of the ball instead of just like 2 destroyers, one of them passing a bit, right? I think that gives you a better like transition from the midfield to the forward line, because I think that's kind of what we are lacking, right? We don't have that guy in the midfield that can pass the ball, like not forwards as in to the winger, but forwards as in straight down the pitch, right? We don't really have that with Palinha and Bentancur. Bentancur passes forwards, but he passes like to the side forwards, right?
Yeah. Just go on 1 sec. I just need to put a top on. It's bloody cold now.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so I think we have like with Bentancur, he passes more to the side, and I think when you put Sar or Bergvall as average as they are, right, with some potential, like I think what they do well is carry the ball. So you can either pass the ball forwards, like directly forwards, or you can carry the ball forwards, right? Then you pull the opposition, from their formation, right? Because like when you look at it, right, like let's imagine like Palinha or Bentancur take the ball away from Bruno Fernandes, let's call it, right, or from Cunha. Let's go with the United game, right? They take the ball off Cunha, and you have like Bentancur and Palinha, and they pass it to the side to like Jet Spence or Udogi or let's say Odobert drops deep and they pass the ball to the left, right? Then like Casemiro or Bruno Fernandes, who will probably like be the double pivot, they just drop in front of the defense, right? And then like United is, that they are settled, right? They are in formation. But when you drive with the ball forwards, right? When you, instead of like Bentancur, let's call it the Sar, and Sar just drives the ball forwards, then either Casemiro or Bruno Fernandes have to go to him, right, to try to stop him from, progressing the ball. Then you pull one of the center mids from the midfield, right? Then Xavi Simons playing a 10 doesn't have like two guys near him; he has one guy near him, right? Then when you pass the ball to Xavi Simons, he can try to dribble past Casemiro, let's call it that way, right? So I think just with like the two of them with Bentancur and Palinha in a game where we aren't like boxed in all the way in our box, I think it's better to have someone more like, as you said, like Bentancur, he makes progressive passes, but I think those are calculated as progressive passes because he passes like towards the goal, right? But it's to the side usually. Like he passes forwards but to the side, like at an angle, right? Instead of just directly going towards the goal. That's how I think why they lack the balance, and that's why I have my opinion of you either play like Bergvall and Palinha or Sar and Bentancur. Like you get my point, right?
It does make sense. I mean, I've even had a couple of people say to me, stick Simmons next to Paulinho.
Like physicality point might be a bit
I agree. I'm just saying what a couple of people have said. What you think of that sort of thing. I can see why someone would say that, but in the middle, and especially in some of the teams we got, like Premier League, I don't know. That one don't quite work for me.
I don't think he's like a double pivot number 8 player. I think we need to put him like as a number 10, right? He needs to be the guy who doesn't really fight that much physically, right? It's like even you remember the goal that Morgan Rogers scored against us, like against Villa, right? When we played. It was Xavi who got skinned by Morgan Rogers first, right? And then our defense just didn't expect Rogers to go past him so easily, right? And he just got dribbled past and almost fell on his ass, right? So I don't think like he has the defensive like prowess, let's call it, right, to play a double pivot.
No, I agree with that as well. It's just a point I was saying what a couple of people have said to me, and I could see why some would say that, but no, not for me.
Yeah,
I mean, so basically, I'd say the best option against Man U in the middle would be Paulinho and Sar.
Yeah, I think you should play that. Especially because Palinha got rested, right? Palinha got rested in the midweek, so he played like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, he didn't play the whole game. I mean, again, I think he's been our best buy of the season, basically. I mean, personally, I think we should buy that player. I reckon if we offer, I know I don't know if there's a deal there or whatever. From what I've heard, there isn't, but there's nothing that it has to be done. But from what I have read on certain things, there is an optional buy there of 25 million euros. Other things have said there's nothing there. Other things have said there. I think there is an optional buy there. I don't think Munich want him back. And okay, he's 30, but to me as a DM, that doesn't really matter. Being 30, he's not a fast player, but he reads the game very well. He's a very good, what I would call an anchor man, basically. Yeah. I mean, the fact that he scored a couple of goals is quite surprising because that sort of player, at times you don't even expect him to go past the bloody halfway line because he is that sort of mentality player as such. But if we can get him for 20 million euros, basically, or even 25, which is about 18 million quid, basically, I think we'd be stupid not to get him, personally, because I don't think you're going to do much better out there to do the job as Spurs, basically. I don't think there's much better we can go out there and get. If I was to go and get someone, I'd definitely be looking at Edison at Atalanta. But then he's a bit more attacking minded than Paulinho as such. If you just want your anchor man, your man to do the defensive job in midfield, I think we should put the money in for him, whether he's 30 or not. Yeah, I think too many people look at 30 and think it's too old.
No, it's listen, it's FIFA or FM speaking through them, right? But honestly, I don't know why there is this like misconception that when you turn 30, you start going down with form, right? There are plenty of examples of players who went over 30 and became 10 times better than they were when they were in their 20s, right? So I don't see an issue. I think especially if it's like 25 million euros, that's like peanuts for us. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
If there is an option, I think we should take it. Even if in a year, right? Let's call it. Let's say we buy him next summer, right? And then he plays next season, and after 27, 28 season, he becomes a bench player or a squad player.
Becomes a squad player.
That's a fucking good bench player to have.
Who's
right?
complaining? Yeah. That's some serious depth, isn't it? That's some good depth. Yeah. I mean, I think someone just made a good point here that it's actually gone straight over my head. And I should have actually, personally, I should have actually thought about this one because it's the sort of one I do think of in this one. And when he's fit, play Kulusevski alongside Paulinho as a bit of a deep line playmaker. I wouldn't necessarily say deep line playmaker, but press forward with it. But yeah, that as well. I can see the point. When he's fit, because when he actually has played centre mid, and I never really pitched him as a centre mid, he's actually done bloody well. I mean, I've told everyone over 2.5 years ago that we're playing him the wrong way to get the best out of him on the right. You will see better out of him if he plays in the middle. Let's say he plays for his country. Let's say he played as a shadow man, like with Ronaldo, and Ronaldo said he's one of the best shadow men he's played with. I think we're definitely missing Kulusevski, and it's starting to show because he was getting a lot of stick. But you never sort of get a consistent season off of him. It's either he burns himself out, basically, by the look of it, or he does get the bloody injuries, doesn't he? I mean, for his size, he does seem to get a few injuries. I don't think that would be the worst call either when Kulusevski comes back, playing him alongside Paulinho in the middle. I think that's actually quite a good shout.
Yeah, I think with Kulusevski and Simons, we have two similar players just on a different side. I say that not necessarily Let me rephrase that because I think that Simons, he's not a left winger, right? But he's not how should I put it? He's not like a classic number 10, I would say, right? He's not like a guy who dictates play and all that stuff. I think the best way to play Xavi Simons is kind of like in that pocket between a striker and someone on the left, right? So you play him inside the pitch, but not in the center. Don't play him out wide. Don't play him directly in the center, just off to the side, right? And I think Kulusevski is similar. I think Kulusevski's best matches were when we allowed him to, we didn't put him out wide as a right winger who is supposed to take on his fullback one-on-one, but rather when he was kind of not cutting inside, but he was between the striker and Porro, right?
Gave him the free one to be inverted, basically.
Yeah. So Porro was overlapping him. Porro was the guy playing wide, and Kulusevski was in the pocket between Porro and the striker, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that was his best position. And I think Xavi Simons is the same, but on the left. Mm-hmm. And this is something that you said about playing free at the back. and then using Simons and Kudus in those roles, I think Kulusevski is also perfect for that role, right?
Yeah,
when you play basically like a double 10 behind the striker, so they are in the pockets between the wing back and the striker. I think that's something that we should try. And I think Maddison, if he ever comes back, I think he could also perform in that role, right? And then you don't have the issue of our shitty wingers, like, Talent and other guys. You don't have an issue of using them. You don't have to use them, right? Or even more, like you can play. Honestly, as mad as it sounds, I think you could, if you had a defensive wing back on one side, Spence, I think you could get away with playing Odobert.
Move it over.
Yeah, I think you could get away with playing Odobert out wide as like a wing back, right? Or more like a left mid, something like that, right? I think that's an option.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I've said to others on here, and the reason, I mean, people think I'll just stick with 3 at the back because it's the formation I like. It is the formation I like. But if I see a team that is more fixed for a 4-2-3-1, right? For me, the 3 biggest problems in that team at this moment in time, Porro is a liability in defence as a right back. And I feel for him because he's had 2 managers now that don't play him his way.
Yeah.
Like, hell was he an inverted player? And he's also not a fucking right back. He's not a defensive-minded player. You are going to see the best out of him when he gets up the pitch as a box-to-box, what am I saying? Wing back up the other end of the pitch. Or even if you're going to play with 4 at the back, tell Spence to basically stay back, let Porro charge forward, and then bring it over to 3 at the back when he goes forward, when it comes back, do what you got to do sort of thing, yeah? I think he gets focused on every bloody game without fail. Right, Kudus staying out wide. So easy to man mark. So easy to box out the game. Left back stays in him. Centre back comes to him. Centre mid comes back, covers the back. He's out the game. And like a lot of the time, he gets marked out in big periods of a game. And on the left, we have Odobert Hotel. That just about says it all, doesn't it? So you go with a 3-4-2-1, 5-2-2-1, whatever you want to call it. Right, we don't need a left winger. Problem solved. Kudus, bring him into the middle. Some say, but we're taking out our best player at what he's best. Well, he's getting fucking marked out the game on the right-hand side. So bring him into the middle, and he has proved in a couple of games now he can more than handle that cam roll. And you've now got Porro and Udogie getting used to their full advantages to go flying up the end of the pitch. You can have Simmons drift out if needs be. You can have Kudus drift out if need be. I think you can seriously cause some trouble there. And a lot of people also think 3 at the back is out and out defensive-minded. No, it's bloody not. Yeah. You can use it as defensive-minded. But if people actually watch a bit of European football, Italian football and that, yeah, they do it all the time, where they basically have their whole team charge forward, midfield, wing backs, everything, and then they have their centre defence sort of come to a bit of a DM role, and still do 2 defenders there, creating the triangle sort of thing, and where the centre defence can also, they're totally covered at the back as well. And if you look at the team we've got, I think doing that formation takes out 3 big problems of the game.
Yeah, I agree. I said it, right? I think, because last time I was on Sean's show, were you there with me, Dan, or no? I don't remember.
Yeah. Because the other day.
I said that I will criticize Frank for misusing Porro, right? Again, we have a manager who misuses Porro. Porro, honestly, I know this will sound funny, right? But to people who play FIFA, right? When you choose a formation for your team, there is a 3 at the back system and a 5 at the back system, right? And honestly, there is a 3 at the back system where you have 3 center backs, 5 midfielders and 2 strikers, or 4 midfielders and 3 up top, right? And then the guys on the side, they are not right back or left back, they are a right mid or left mid, right? Which basically means they are kind of an offensive player. Porro is a right mid, I would even call him, right? He's not a defender. He's not Porro should be the guy coming back to help the right center back defend if needs be, right? Not the guy who is a right back defending on his own against wingers, right? He doesn't have the physicality for it. So I would honestly do my best to try to allow Porro to just go forward, right? Either by playing a back 3, as you said, or what I did, which was I still think this is like the way to go to bamboozle all the fact five at the back people, right? All the people that think 3 at the back is shit, right? I would honestly play like a 4 at the back on paper with Van de Ven, Romero, Danso, and Porro, right? As a 4 on, like when it shows on the screen, they are the 4, right? But then you form a back 3 and allow Porro to just, bomb forward the be a wing
and then
back,
Spence
right?
comes in to make it 3 at the back.
Or Spence, or even like I even, as I said, not even play Spence, just play Van de Ven, Danso, and Romero, right?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, this is basically what Pep did, right? Pep was inverting Stones into the midfield. I'm just saying,
I see what you're
just
saying.
let Porro bomb forward, and we have a double pivot in front of the back 3. Then we have like let's call it a 4 midfielder type of thing with like Udogi, Porro, Simons and Kudus and the striker, which is basically the same thing that you described. I'm just saying to put it on paper as a back 4 so that everyone fucks off about back 5.
Yeah,
just like honestly, because because I think people just don't use their brains, right? They will see a back 5 on screen and they will say, "Oh, that's a defensive system." No, it's fucking not. If you play it in a different way, I get why people think back 5 is a defensive system because you have 3 center backs on the pitch, right? But then your wing backs aren't defenders, right? They are supposed to be the offensive players, right? So it's you technically have 1 less defender actually in a 3 at the back system, or I guess you can play a 5 at the back system when you really have like a flat back 5 at the back, but then that's a different thing, right? What me and you are saying is play 3 defenders instead of 4. Actually, make us more offensive by allowing Porro and Udogi to bomb forward, right? Which is just so infuriating for me that people just they see 3 center backs and think that's a defensive formation.
Exactly. Because you can go into a game with that as well and play it as a bit more 5 at the back sort of thing and use them as the wing backs of what they are, yeah? But then you could go into other games and be more attacking. And instead of having them start as the wing backs off the 3, you can then just put them into midfield and make it a 3-4-2-1 basically, and have them as the midfielders there, but they can come back if needs be. But in that sort of game, they spend more time up the other end of the pitch. Whereas when you play with wing backs, it's a bit of both basically. But you still don't have to come all the way back to a right back or a left back role because you've got the 3rd defender on either side to cover your ass. And you've also got your pragmatic defensive DM basically to come back and slot the hole in the middle if needs be. To me, it just makes sense with this team. But people do think 3 at the back is out and out defensive minded. It's Italian. It's pragmatic. It's this. It's that. And I don't see what the problem with it. Like you can close down teams like that. You can do so much with that football, but I just don't see it necessarily happening. I do understand it is a bit of a problem at Spurs at the moment if we was going to play like that because we haven't exactly got the defense to cover that. One injury and it basically falls to shit sort of thing. But then Paulinho at the back if needs be. He's already shown he can do it. He can more than do it with Bentancur and Sarr in midfielders. So I do think there is options with this, but I do agree with people on the aspect of it's another say of like, what game do you actually try this on? And what's just saying here? Dan, Spurs, what are you saying here, mate? Dan can only stay for a few minutes. Can I have your opinion on the untitled game, mate?
I think he meant United, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, basically on the United game, yeah. I think we can come out of this 2-1. I mean, people are saying, where do we find our goals? We seem to find goals. I think Moane, I think he's stepping up a gear, basically. Again, the way he should have scored 2 in that game, really, if we're going to be honest there, yeah? But I do think we can come out of that game with a 2-1 win. I do think we can come out of that game winners. If we go into it complacent, I do think we can come out of that 2-1, 3-1 losers, same as you do any game. I think we're definitely going to have to be careful with what they got up front. They got some pace up there now. I think they're definitely better up front than us, same as I do with, I'd say 18 out of 20 Premier League teams at the minute. I think they're better up front than us. I mean, that's a relegation fucking free up there we got half the time, innit? But I do think we can come out of this winners, and I don't think it's being over positive or nothing like that. I've got no reason to think why we shouldn't come out winning this game.
Yeah, I agree. Like I don't listen. They are better in certain places than us, right? But we are better at certain places than them, right? Let's not kid ourselves. Like I would much rather have our back four than whatever they have in defense, right?
Yes.
Like I would rather have Palhinha than Palhinha and Casemiro. Maybe you can make a comparison between them. Although
Casemiro,
I think
he's done. He's not
you know,
totally, but nowhere near what he was.
the issue with Casemiro is stamina, in my opinion. He can play at the top level for 45 minutes, but after 45 minutes, he's done, right? Whereas I think Palhinha has more energy in him, right? Which is like, okay, like if you want to take Casemiro, I'm not against it, but I would personally rather have Palhinha, right? Like, yeah, Bruno Fernandes is better than Bentancur, right? Like, Bruno Fernandes is a really good player. Like, Cunha and Buemo and Sesko are probably, especially like Cunha and Buemo are better than our wingers, right? Okay, fine. But I don't think it's like a wipe or anything, right? Like, let's be honest about it. I think we can easily win this game. It's just about how we approach it and how we play. Because like the criticism of the home form is correct, right? Like we have to get our shit together at home because it's honestly pathetic that we are losing so many games at our own ground, right? But if we do, like I don't see a reason why we can't win against them, as you said.
No, I mean, when you put the 11 there sort of thing, you can say it's overall quite an evenly matched team, isn't it? Like, we've got a more solid defence. They've got a more solid attack. I mean, they've got that Fernandes in mid. Oh, do you know what? You see him, yeah? I think he's a good player, but for fuck's sake, what a...
Mate, he's a fucking rat. Like, I will always say this.
What a wanker, mate. Seriously, that... He's just that one you would love to meet and just slap it in the face. He's so far stuck up his own arse he can smell yesterday's dinner. I think he's a fuck. I really don't like the player.
Yeah,
but he's
neither
good.
do I, mate. Like, yeah, he's good. He's a really good player, but he's just. I think he has that. I said it. He has that, like, how should I put it? He's like that prima ballerina player, basically, right? Like, if everything is going right, like he's a wicked player. But if shit starts going wrong, he starts whining, downplaying, just like being a bitch, basically, right? Which is why
a worse version of Maddison.
Yeah, a worse version of Maddison, right? A luxury player. I think that's a good way to put it, right? He's like, when you win, he allows you to win more, right? But when you lose, he's dragging you down. I would put it that way. Like I get it. United fans will give me plenty of examples where he was dragging them out of the hole, right? I agree. With age, he kind of calmed down a bit. Like last season, I think he was more composed, right? But nevertheless, I think there is something about Bruno that doesn't allow me to put him at the upper echelons of Premier League midfielders, even though the numbers are there, the performances from time to time are there. Like, you look at him and you see a great player, right? But then there is something about him that's just like,
he's just. I mean, like what Sonny's just said. Yeah, I've always wanted to meet Jack Wilshere. Yeah. You go home back in the wheelchair, mate. You've spent enough time in it. Here's another one that you just think is a total prick. Like another one that I think is a total prick who used to be a player in that, and I just don't even like the way he does it. For what's his name off of Talksport? His name's gone off my fucking head now. I can't remember his fucking
Jamie O'Hara.
That one.
Yeah. There's the former Spurs player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jamie O'Hara,
yeah. I mean, for me, that's enough. I just think the fella's a total prick. But either way, I mean, there's plenty of them out there. And, I mean, either way. Some people are just naturally a prick, and there's others like me who just like to be a fucking prick on purpose. But there's a difference, big difference. So with the Man U game, you do reckon we can get something out of that then? Would you reckon score B on that one? I mean, I think we can come out of that 2-1. I think we might have to be a little bit... I think we definitely stand a better chance with this one, being a more counter-attacking team, because they are going to put some force on us up front. And the thing I said earlier, what I've said with a couple of people now, is bar the odd game here or there, for the past 2, maybe even 3 seasons, this being the 3rd season, we don't tell teams how they're going to play football, basically, because we're going to play our way. We're going to make you play this way. We're a very
reactive team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, they do their thing and show us how we're going to play our football. That's why every time someone like Man City comes on us or whatever else and comes all out attack us, and we end up having to play a counter-attacking style, we end up doing significantly better, I'd say 8 times out of 10. We don't boss a game in the aspect of, I mean, bossing a game at Copenhagen is one thing compared to bossing a game at Man U, Arsenal, or Aston Villa, whatever, and that, yeah? It's always they show us how we're going to play the game. That's how I see it anyway. And I think they're going to push on us very hard because they got some pace up there as well. And if they push on us enough and make us play into a more counter-attacking role sort of thing, I think that's how we would look best in that game instead of going all guns blazing for them. Because I don't think we got the power up front to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is like 2 sides to the game, because I think we have like enough about us to actually box them in and we take control of the game, but then we open ourselves to getting countered, right? But that's always the case. Like if you want to take control of the game, you have to push players forward, which means you can get countered on, right? But I think, listen, I think we have enough quality to defeat them, and I really want to defeat them. I can't stand United, right? I can't stand their fans, especially, right? Like the club itself, I don't have problems with, right? But the audacity of some of those United fans to yap as much as they do, like, listen, mate, as I said, right, it's not 2008 anymore, right? You are not winning leagues 3 in a row, right? Last time you won a league, I know I'm a Spurs fan, so last time I won the league was 61, right? Which means my father wasn't alive at that time, right? But I get that point that Spurs fans talking about leagues is one thing, right? But I'm not talking as a Spurs fan. I'm talking as a football fan, right? You should humble yourself a bit. You are a big club, but just stop yapping so much, right? Because every single time I watch those like Big Six shows and other channels, I see United fans and they play Brighton away and they're like, yeah, we'll stop them 3-0, right? They play Brentford away, yeah, we'll stop them 2-0, right? They play Manchester City at home, yeah, we'll win against Manchester City, and City comes and slaps them 3-0, right? It's like, fill the room. It's like, you will have more joy in life when you understand that you are, at least for now, no longer that club that you were, right? And especially I say this as a relatively newer football fan, because I started following football in like 2018, let's call it that way, right? 2017, 18, somewhere along those lines, I started like watching club football, and especially football in England, right? You did nothing since then, right? Like since I started watching football, you did nothing. You had like one season where you finished like second, 20 points behind City, right? And you had like one season when you won the Europa League, right? Which is same thing we did, right? We finished second behind Chelsea and we won the Europa League, right? Like for me, from my perspective as a fan who started watching the game from like 2018, you are nothing different to Spurs, right? So I'm not yapping as a Spurs fan, right? When I speak with Chelsea fans and Arsenal fans, and I rather be humble, and because I know my place, right? And so should you, because like for vast majority of a decade, you've not been that team that you think you are, right? So sorry, I know it's a long monologue.
No,
even more than a decade. Even more than a decade, I would call it. Like last year,
since 2000, they were the powerhouse of fucking England and part of Europe. Do you know what? With what you said there, I think of recent, and when I mean recent, I say past 20 years, let's say, yeah. I know that's not recent, but I'm giving it a bit of time. I think I've only seen one other club fall off the edge like they have, and that's AC Milan.
Yeah.
I mean, AC Milan at one stage were the team of teams, and I've seen them have some of the best teams I've ever seen on this planet, yeah? Even though I'm an Inter supporter through and through, but AC Milan have had some fucking good teams.
Seven Champions Leagues. Right?
They ain't no fucking idiots. I mean, what are they? Second on Champions League, aren't they? With Liverpool, if I remember right.
No, Liverpool have 6, right? I think Milan are second. Milan are second behind Real Madrid, of course, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they've won a league recently in the past 4 years. I know that as such. Yeah. But if you want to go it past under 20 years, I think AC Milan are the only ones that have literally fallen off a cliff like Man U have. But okay, Man U have still won a couple of cups and whatever. But if you want to go by Manchester United standards, they are an absolute shambles of a club to what they was. They are absolutely nothing to what they were. I mean, the way they have come down since Fergie left, basically. I think everybody knew that Fergie leaves. His times are going to get harder as such. But shit, man, I don't think you expected them to fall off it that deep.
Yeah.
I mean, even down to the fact, I mean, last season was just a total. It was just the season was just fucked up in every which way possible.
Yeah, I know we were a shit show too, right? Like I know we were a shit show too. Yeah.
Where did they finish?
15th, right? Mate, they are the team that gave us a trophy. Like they are the team that lost the final to Tottenham Hotspur, right? Like just know your place, right? Like I know, right? For a fact, I fucking know, right? That if we played that final against like Chelsea or Arsenal or whoever else, and Chelsea and Arsenal were 15th, like let's imagine a situation that Chelsea are 15th, right? And we are 17th, and we play a Europa League final against them, right? I know for a fucking fact we are not winning that final, right? Because Chelsea is Chelsea, right? And I know that Liverpool is the same.
It is what it
right?
is.
Liverpool, Arsenal, they are the same. We are not winning against them, right? But United, you gave us the trophy, right? You gave me a night of my fucking life, right? I drank like 8 beers and half a liter of vodka that night, right? I got so fucked up that I was so hangover next day, right? It's honestly surprising. And you are the reason why I could do that, right? So, like, I respect the history, I respect the club, I respect all that, right? But right now, like, just pipe down a bit, right? That's like, and honest.
It's not as though you've only been like this for 3 seasons, is it? And you're getting your shit together. You've been like this for like fucking 15 coming on 20 years, basically, and that. So yeah, like it's a step down a bit. You've got a stadium that's falling apart, and you just really haven't got a great record as such, especially against us. I mean, like I think Sonny says it good here. I mean, question. We all would say last season was a flop. You could say that. And we got lucky, very much lucky. I mean, to me, that Europa, I still say it, that Europa Cup was easier to win than the fucking League Cup last season. Yeah. Simple as that, yeah? And the League Cup is meant to be this piss poor little club that no one looks at, yeah? Well, it was harder to win than the Europa Cup, for fuck's sake. If you look at the teams and what they had to do, it's a fact. There's no arguing about that. I know some will, but for me, there's no argument in it. The only team we kept beating was United by hook and crook, even under Ange. So if we lose on Saturday, would you say this is bad or progress? Good question.
I mean, it's
they've
not
definitely
progress,
improved
right?
up front. They've definitely improved up front. There's no two ways about it. And I'd say like we said earlier, I'd say the teams are quite overall on the pitch are quite evenly matched, but just in different places as such. Like up front, I mean, you can even go with a United fit. Look at the players they bought last season. Would you say that was quality that they bought last season, that they bought this summer?
Yeah, I would. Like, I would like to have Cunha and Tembuemo, right? Which is like, by my standards, like I would be so happy to have both of them, right? So I can't say that they didn't bring in quality.
That's your standards. That's your standards. That's your Spurs standards, yeah? Now, if we go take this back honestly and take this back 10, 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
That's below Manchester. Yeah. That's a step down from the sort of player they would usually go for him. Now, I know people are going to tell me they're 2 fucking good players. You don't have to tell me that. Of course, I'd have them at Spurs. But like you just said, that's a Spurs mentality talking with that one, yeah? Like, yes, we'd take him up all day long. You go take Man U 15 years ago, they wouldn't have even looked at them two.
Yeah. In the current context, it was a wise move to go for them because they went for like Premier League proven quality, like, you know, players that actually know how this league plays, right? So I think by current situation, it was a good choice, and I would gladly take both of them at our club, right? But yeah, I completely agree with what you said, right? Back then, like they were buying, you know, Florian Wirtzes of basically 15 years ago, United would buy Florian Wirtz, right? And
Yes.
United would buy fucking Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Like they would buy those type of players, right? So the way I look at it, and by the way, with the transfer window, I think they made 3 good signings, right? I think Sesko is a good player, not like Mbuemo is a good player, Cunha is a good player, but I think they kind of like misbalanced that transfer window. I think their defense and the midfield needed help, and they focused really a lot on the forward line, and I think it will come to
that was definitely what they needed most, wasn't it? That forward line.
Definitely. Like buying 2 of them was great. I just think whether buying like a cheaper striker and buying a midfielder would be a better choice for them, because like I think they will struggle in the midfield. Like if something happens to Casemiro or Bruno Fernandes, or like they drop form, then they have like Ugarte coming in, which Ugarte is like a shin kicker, basically. Like that's what he does, right? And then like who else do they even have in the midfield? I think they needed a midfielder, and I think they will go for a midfielder really soon. I wouldn't be surprised if they buy like Wharton or Baleba or someone like that, right?
It would be a legit move.
Yeah, then they will be sorted, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get the wrong idea what I've put down here. Yeah, I'm not saying Mbuemo and that ain't good players. Yeah, for Spurs players, they would be excellent. But I'm going back to the standards of Manchester United, the club they used to be. These are a step down as far as I'm concerned, for the sort of player of caliber that Man United used to go and buy. I mean, Man United just used to walk into a team like they did it to us with Berbatov. Yeah. Thank you, come again. And Michael Carrick, other players they've done it with all over England, over Europe. They've done it with, and now. I think they've now lived their date on the aspect of that they can survive on their name. I think they're past that sell-by date now, yeah? Because certain teams, I mean, look at Arsenal. For a good few years, they were still living off their name, weren't they? Yeah? They weren't performing, they weren't looking good. But they could still get players in there because they was Arsenal.
Yeah.
Man United have done it for a long time. And I think they're past their sell-by date now, where Manchester United, bar the money they're willing to put on the table for the wages, doesn't quite attract a player like it used to.
It still has it, right? They still have the name, but the longer they go on without like winning leagues and Champions Leagues and all that stuff, right? The lesser of an appeal it will be, right? Because like, listen, we tried to go in for Mbuemo, right? And Mbuemo said, I'm a United fan, I want to go United. United is the way, right? And let's be honest about it. They are a way fucking bigger club than us, right? Like,
they're the biggest club in the planet, either them or Real Madrid.
I think Real is bigger. Personally, I think Real is bigger. But
it's them, Real and Barcelona out of them 3 that are the 3 biggest clubs in the world as such.
Yeah. So, like, of course, they have the name, they have the history, they have the prestige and all that stuff, right? But it's going away the longer they keep performing like that.
Same as it did with AC Milan. AC Milan used to be able to walk up to anybody and say, "Come here," and people used to run to them.
Yeah, agreed, right? Like Liverpool, City, PSG, Real Madrid, Barca. Those are the clubs where, like, the name right now is like unchallengeable, right? If those 5 clubs walk up to you, you go there. Like, you don't bat an eyelid, you go there, right? You don't even think, right?
Exactly what Ghost
said. I think Arsenal is getting there, by the way, because like the amount of money they pay and the successes they try to, like, Dan, I personally think Arsenal will win the league this season, right? Which will be
looking that way. If they don't win this league, Michael, it is the fuck up of all fuck ups as far as I'm concerned, because Liverpool have already screwed it basically. Unless they go this season pretty much and win every game bar a draw here or there, it's a screw up, because Man City still are not on form basically, and Chelsea just no one else. If they do not win it this year.
You know what the thing with Arsenal is, right? Like, the reason why I'm saying this is, like, even if I see like them, let's say, dropping points to City away, right? Or even let's just imagine a scenario where Liverpool win at the Emirates, right? Which I don't think will happen, but let's imagine a scenario, right? I think Liverpool are vulnerable. It's a hard fucking word for me, sorry. Like they vulnerable, yeah. Basically, I think Liverpool can drop points out of nowhere, right? Because of the style of play they have, right? Same thing with City. With Arsenal, I think the biggest fucking thing is that they are not losing games. They are not conceding goals, right? Like, these motherfuckers didn't face a shot on goal for like 4 games straight. Like, that's mad, right?
They're not even playing pretty football, are they? Where the style of football seems to have changed.
I don't see them like going to Bournemouth away and losing, right? I think they will like lose 1 or 2 games this season, like in the league.
Oh, 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, everybody does.
Yeah. But that's it, right? But that's it. They lost 1 game against Liverpool. I think they maybe lose to City away, maybe. But who else is taking points off them?
But then again, they don't have a bad record with City overall, do they?
But who else is taking points off them, right? Like, let's be honest about it. Chelsea are their bitch. Like, what we are to Chelsea is to Arsenal, right? Arsenal rock up to Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea just pulls their pants down and like allows them to have every fucking time Chelsea does this, right? Like, who they won against Newcastle away, which is one of the toughest games out there. Like Villa are good,
no
but
mugs.
Yeah, Villa are no mugs, but do I see Arsenal drawing away at Villa Park? Yeah. Or like, why not?
No, I agree. I agree with you. I said it wrong. I said it wrong. Do I see Villa getting something out of it? No, not really. I said it wrong.
Yeah, I was thinking like from a different perspective, right? Yeah, and then like what, us? Like, sorry, like us? That they will come to our gaff, stink the fucking place out, score a corner and win 1-0 again, right? Like what happened 2 years straight. Which is it's just a sad reality to live in, right? But I think they have all the tools in their hand to win that league. They have the depth, they have the defensive structure, they have the set pieces, even they have like some attacking prowess, right? It's not like they are completely toothless out there. So if they don't win it this season, then I don't know when will they win it, right?
I mean, I didn't look on it properly, and a few people said to me like they will be the favourites this year and that, and I just didn't see it as that. But I didn't actually open and look into the depth as such, and I just do look at it now, and I look at the depth compared to what they've got to Liverpool, compared to what they've got to City and everything. If these pricks don't go and pull this season off, I mean, to me, it's going to be more of a screw up than it was with Newcastle screwing it up with Man U, basically. And that one, for me, is probably the bottle job of since the Premier League existed. Basically, the way Newcastle absolutely bottled that league with Man U. It's going to be tough to ever see something like that again. Okay, I know Arsenal screwed it with Man City, whatever else and that, but I still say that Newcastle on Man U one was the bottle job of all bottle jobs when it comes down to the crunch on that one. I mean, the other point I want to get to is style of play. I do think this season, it was starting to slowly happen at the end of last season. I do think this season, I do think this season, definitely, with a lot of teams now, you're starting to see a very, very different style of football to what has been around for the past 3 years, maybe even 4 years. Some might agree with that. Some might disagree with that. But I think now, I mean, what I'm basically saying is, Mike, what I think now is compared to the last, let's say 4, maybe 3, maybe 4 seasons, I think there is definitely a different style of football in the Premier League now. Yeah. It's definitely got dirtier. I think overall, it's definitely got more, do I say defensive pragmatic? Possibly. A lot more reliant on set pieces as a whole overall, and a lot more teams out there are not necessarily playing what some would say pretty football as such. I mean, Arsenal, their football is not entertaining anymore. Yeah, Man City, to me, they're not entertaining anymore. I would say two teams that I find entertaining to watch. It was Liverpool until they proper went through that stage, and I must admit, I do like the way Newcastle play just out of sheer powerhouse, basically in the middle. For me, I just like that, but I'm not saying that one's particularly.
I like watching Bournemouth. I think they play quite nice football. Brighton from time to time. It really depends with Brighton. Brighton sometimes like they shithouse things, and sometimes they play like ecstatic football. So Brighton is a bit of a flip of a coin. And I really like Sunderland, but it's not because like the game is beautiful, like what they do. It's more about like
who they are,
the energy, the passion. And this, listen, I was so hoping that they win the playoff, and they did, thankfully, right? Because I think Sunderland is like a Premier League level team with the stadium, the passion, the atmosphere, and all that stuff. I think they are a Premier League club. So I'm so happy that they are back in the Premier League, and I hope they stay up, right? And I like watching them. Like them play at their own ground, because like the atmosphere of it is just like, you know,
it's there. You know what? Last season, if Sunderland would have been in this league last season, we'd have gone down.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's a stupid call. I think that's a very fair call. Even Leeds, maybe. Yeah. I mean, the only reason we stayed up last year is because the bottom three was absolute dog shit.
They were so fucking dog shit. Those three teams, like Jesus Christ.
Three of the worst teams you've probably seen in that league, yeah?
Southampton were literally almost the worst team ever, right? They were 1 point above
Derby, wasn't it? 1 point above Derby.
Derby had 11, Southampton ended at 12, right? 12 fucking points in 38 games.
Yeah. I mean, with the style of football, how much do you think the style of football has changed? Or am I seeing this differently?
No, I think it's generally like not only the style of play, but also the type of players that teams bring in. I feel like, listen, I think we are going through, and for the lack of a better word, I will call it like the Americanization of the game. I feel like when you watch like NFL, NBA, and all those teams, like the data analytics side of it is really like on a high level, and they come up with things and ways to play the game in a more efficient way. So basically they look at like what the probability of success is, and they go into that direction, right? Based on like some models and all that stuff, right? Data analytics and all this shit, right? So I think we are kind of going through it where teams realize that if you have like a set piece routine, right, that you can repeatedly perform and be good at it, right? And you can change those routines so that the teams don't suss you out, right? It's easier to score a goal from a set piece if you really work well on them than to break through the defense, right? Because to break through the defense, you rely on like individual brilliance of a player, which is not something that is consistent, right? Like that there aren't many players that are consistently like brilliant, right?
Yeah. Whereas last season, set pieces didn't mean nothing, did they? Not to us, anyway.
But as I said, like there aren't many players that are reliably consistent and like do magic stuff, right? But you can reliably perform corners and throw-ins, right? You can just put Danso on the side, and he will throw the ball 99% of the time. In the
as good as a corner, nearly.
As good as a corner, right? And the probability of scoring from that is higher, right? So I think so many teams just moved into that type of thing, just bringing in like physical, big players, like great stamina, great like injury records and all that stuff, right? And I think this is why we are seeing the shift of style of play, because like those players cannot perform those magic things. They play the way they do, which is physical falls, tackles, physical battles, headers, and all that stuff. That's why I think we are seeing what we are seeing, right? Which is like, which is basically what I said, right? They are going into that like physical side of game, and physical players play in a physical way, right? That's fucking easy as that.
It is. I mean, just before I say, like, I mean, Ben, we are the new Stoke. Think about it. No, we're fucking not, mate. Never in a million years. If I want to relate a team to Stoke, and now obviously this team, I relate Newcastle more to Stoke, yeah. Because what I say about this is, yeah, I used to love watching Stoke play against Arsenal. Used to love it. Why? Because they would go for the kneecaps. They knew they wasn't good enough. They knew they couldn't touch them. So they would just go in there and say, right, we're having your kneecaps and your ankles. And Arsenal would always come out of that game with at least an injury or two, yeah? Because Stoke just used to go in there with nothing but sheer gut power, yeah? No, we are not like Stoke. Not in my opinion. I mean, what do you think on that? I think Newcastle are more similar to Stoke. Yes, more skillful, whatever. But if you go by power that they use in that, I think they're more of a similarity in that way. We are not a power force team. Stoke used to rely on brute force.
I call Newcastle the rugby team, and that's not without a reason. I think they are playing rugby in football. Like they took the American football, they took the football side of it and applied it to Premier League. That's how I watch Newcastle, right? Whenever we play against them, it's just always like
that's why I enjoy watching them.
Yeah, elbows to the face, like, you know, fucking double-legged takedowns, and somehow they don't get red cards for it, but that's a different thing, right? That's refereeing. But yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, as you did.
Yeah.
By the way, my dinner just arrived, so I will leave.
Man.
Thank you guys for the show,
because
I don't want to eat like in front of you. So yeah,
I
I will be watching in the background.
See you later, Michael, buddy.
So, sorry guys that you just arrived and I'm leaving, but yeah, like, I don't want to eat chicken.
No, brother.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with chicken. Brian, Dietrich, how are we both doing, fellas?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. It's good to be back on your channel, mate. I hope you're well, and I hope Dietrich is good in the chat.
Oh, anyway, what's happened with the hair, man? I mean, when I saw it the other day, I thought it was a hair transplant, and then I thought, no, you're looking younger.
No, mate. You know what it is I can't trust myself to shave the back of it, and whilst I'm here, my mother absolutely despises it when I shave my head. So I'm just like, do you know what? I can't be bothered with the grief. Oh my God, you shaved your hair. So, and the one time I normally do grow my hair a bit is, especially when I'm back home, is the winter for extra insulation during the bitter ass winters. So I don't like it. Trust me. I want it gone, but I can't trust myself, and my mom won't shave it and won't allow my dad to shave it. So I'm being a good boy.
So apart from that, how you been, Dietrich? All good?
Yeah, all good. How's everyone doing?
Good, brother.
No, almost looking forward to this Man U game. So, Brian, I'll go back to things then, seeing as we haven't heard your opinions on it. Going back on things and that game with Copenhagen and everything, is that what we needed?
100 billion%. One, there's so much I took from that game. As you know, Dan, I am probably Frank's #1 fan when it comes to, for the length of time I've wanted him. Dietrich is the opposite because he's silly. But it's the one thing me and Dietrich disagree on. Look, I will say the Chelsea performance was horrific. Absolutely horrific and unacceptable.
I think that was as bad as any Ange game, personally.
Oh, mate, but no, what I was getting at with that is, yes, Frank got it wrong with the setup. But what I didn't like in that game is there's been players that have been at Tottenham for quite a long time. Obviously, there's some new players that were there as well. They know the two games you don't lose or put in a shit performance at home is Chelsea and Arsenal. These players that we hear come to the Premier League because they want to play in the biggest competitions and the toughest game, blah, blah, blah. Those players themselves should have needed absolutely no worries about being G'd up and ready for this game. They just weren't at it. And it could have been because of the tactics. But I've seen Spurs play against Chelsea and put effort in. May not have won, especially at home, but it was diabolical. Copenhagen, I'm giving Frank a lot of credit. It's amazing how people go, it's only Copenhagen. But when we drew with Bodo in the Norwegian league, and don't tell me the Norwegian league's any stronger, oh my God, we should be battering those teams. Why can't we create? Why can't we do this? Why? And then we do it, people moan. So many things I took from that performance. First of all, I think Destiny Udogie is the key to everything. And I don't mean having that natural left footer, you could see makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. What I want to see Spurs do now is go and bring in another left-footed left-back and let Spence and Porro fight it out on the right. So then if Spence is going forward, obviously he's not cutting in, slowing it down. Also praised Frank for splitting Bentancur and Paulinho. Because not because it may have been the right thing to do, but if he had done that midfield too, you can imagine what the fan base would have been like. We've heard so many fans talk about it, but I started looking at it after the game. Bentancur was superb on Tuesday, superb. Yes. And I don't understand why he can't do that with Paulinho. Then it kind of, I don't know how people feel about this. I think, again, this is why I say destiny is key. When Spence is running up that left wing or cutting in, he has to check back on his right foot. Has to, because he doesn't trust his left foot, which is fine. He's playing out of position. But him doing that allows the whole team to get back. So they get into positions. Xavi, who may have been free in space, is obviously then taken care of. And it's going back to Paulinho and Bentancur further. So I don't know if he starts Porro and Bentancur against United, but Destiny's there. I think we see a different performance from them two. Not guaranteed or whatever, but I think we'll see a different. I think Xavi was magnificent. I think Odegaard looked better. Not brilliant, but better. I have to say, the one that I was really impressed with, I'm really loving what I'm seeing from Kolo Muani.
He's getting there. I mean, the comment someone made on here earlier was something I wanted to say earlier, and I'd said it after the game. I think I spoke to Dietrich and Benj after and said the same thing, if I remember correctly. For Tottenham, I'll make that clear again. For Tottenham, that was the best bit of ball control I've seen since Berbatov.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Do you know what? Not only was it such a great touch, you would think a lot of strikers that maybe haven't got a goal or haven't got going goal-wise, injuries, obviously, it's nothing to do with his form.
Would have gone for the
shot. Exactly. They would have brought it down, tried to take a shot. But what I loved about that touch is he brought it down so quickly. The way he turned allowed him to scan around the pitch and see what's there. And he saw Odegaard coming in. I think do you know what I love about him? He drives with the ball. Mate, Richarlison can't do it. Solanke can't really do it.
Can't do a lot, can he?
Exactly.
It's not really a good comparison.
I think Muani is going to be a real danger and a real threat. I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. You kind of saw a connection with him and Xavi building. Xavi was fantastic.
I don't know about fantastic.
No, he was.
He was good.
Do you know what it is, Dan? Did you see the stat yesterday on that game? We created more big chances than anyone else in the Champions League this season.
Okay, fair enough.
That's how good that. And you got to remember, you look at it. He should have had the assist from Muani's header.
Yes.
Mate, and that gave me pure Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli versus Chelsea vibes under Poch. Brilliant assist for Brennan Johnson. I don't think that pass is given the credit actually due. It was like right in his stride. Could have had another assist with the Muani, that lovely team build up, and he was just running things. I think he was. There was a glimpse of what he can do, wasn't it? It was a glimpse. If we can get the ball to him,
that I can totally agree with. I wouldn't say he had a magnificent game. I don't think he was that good. I mean, it's just opinion at the end of the day.
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
I think he had a good game. compared to how he has played, I think you can. I mean, compared to how he has played, for me, you can't rate him no different to Odegaard or Till. I think he's actually been fucking poor since he's been for us, yeah. And I don't think he's been no better than either of them two until that game. Now, Odegaard, I don't think he had a magnificent game, but if I go to Odegaard standards, he had a spectacular game. Yeah. And I think you can almost say the same with Simmons about that, because I think he's been fucking crap since he's played for us. Reasons to it, I totally get that. Not saying he's a crap player, but only judging by what I've seen, I think he's been fucking terrible. And are you looking at it a more of a spectacular game because of how he's been, or do you genuinely think the game was that
No,
good?
I mean, obviously, I went to Everton away, so I got to see his performance there. And obviously, what we've seen him, what I have seen from him, not just live but on TV, he's done better, Xavi Simons, for us recently, defending and getting back and supporting the team and being there and putting the tackles in than he has been where we actually need him to. I think that game, if you look at it, Xavi had a very good game when he came off the bench against Brighton.
Respectable.
And we got that 2-2 draw and he caused havoc. I think that I'm not saying it was a superb game because of the standards he set. I just think everything we were doing was running through him.
No,
obviously, if he got a goal and a couple of assists, I think, listen, he got man of the match for Tottenham and from UEFA, and he was only on the pitch 60 minutes.
I think Bentancur had a better game overall, if I'm going to be honest.
Listen, Bentancur, and I'm one fan that absolutely adores Paulinho. And if those two were to split up, I'm like Paulinho over him. And that's because you look at it, Paulinho is already topping tackles, topping this, topping that.
He's exactly what we need. Bentancur can play DM role, but he hasn't got the capability to do it in the way that Paulinho does.
Exactly.
Paulinho is what we've been screaming for.
Exactly. But what I don't get is, again, I go back to maybe it's because Spencer at the left wing or left back and he can't use his left foot and players are getting back. I don't see why they can't just have Paulinho, right, you're the six, you stay here, do that. Bentancur, because I do think that can work. And if they get it right, it will be a very, very good midfield partnership. But I do think it's more set up for the big games away, or games we like. Let's just say the big six come to us, and we need to make sure.
Counter-attacking direct football is how we look best.
Yeah, mate. I hope United is pretty much the same lineup, but hopefully. And another thing, mate. Do you know what? Simeon was saying this to me when I've done the watch along. Do you know we've played like we did against Newcastle, where Newcastle, obviously the result and the goals we gave away were really, really poor. There's no getting away from that. But when we went 1-0 down, we played some really nice attacking football. Just Richarlison couldn't finish it. But have you seen that when we've had our good attacking play, Mo Kudus hasn't been on the pitch. And there's two ways to look at this. What Simeon was getting, there's two ways of looking at it. I said, could you imagine if Kudus is in this team against United and we play like that? He could have a field day. But also, when we look at it in other games, minus the two games I just mentioned, we are so over-reliant on Kudus that he's getting double-teamed up and we become so predictable. I'm not calling...
I agree.
I'm not calling for Kudus to be dropped. I'd rather him be in the team because he's an absolute... He's superb. And on his day, like we saw Burnley, Manchester United, City and others, he on his day, he's unplayable.
Basically, Brian, what it is what I've been saying for 2.5 fucking years. Said it on here a fair few times now, but I'll say it to you as well. This team is still made for a 3-4-2-1 to play with fucking wing-backs. We got no one on the left to put out there. Take the left out of it, put it in the middle, put Simmons there. Right, Kudus gets marked out every game. We only get to see 3/4 maybe of what he's possible with doing because the other team focus on him, Spurs out the game because we totally rely on him when he's on. Put him in the fucking middle. Porro picked on every bloody game without a doubt because he's a liability in defence. Right, take that problem out of it, use him as wing back, free at the back. To me, that's problem half solved, and we always look better counter attack. Dietrich, how you doing, fella? If you're still there.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So, what did you think of that game against Copenhagen then?
Well, if you guys watch it back, we did actually play a 3 at the back against Copenhagen. Because if you look correctly, Udogi inverted on the left and Poro tucked in as a third center back. But he was that quarterback role on the right center back role. And that's why everything just flowed and we looked so much better. Go back and watch the game and just pause on a couple of occasions. Poro was playing as a third center back. And it was Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, was playing wing back. And that's why he covered so much.
I think we looked better when Johnson got taken off, personally.
Yeah, we did look better, but honestly, I have to raise my hands up. I still don't rate him, but Thomas Frank got it right, and fair play to him.
Oh, right.
And
I thought
now,
you meant Johnson.
Well said, Dietrich. Well said.
No. Fair play to him. Fair play. My only question is, can you replicate this going forward on a consistent basis? And I hope he does, because honestly, I just want to see Spurs winning. And
do you know what,
Dietrich? Yeah.
Go on, you finish, Dietrich. You finish.
No, I just said if he continues doing that and we can have a solid performance against Man U, I'm telling you, it's going to be such a morale boost because we're going to have the international break and then directly we have Arsenal. So now we're going to be on form.
On an international break, innit?
Yeah, but then it's going to help us because they have injuries and they're not playing their best. And if we can have a dominant performance against Man U like we did against Copenhagen, I'm not saying 4-0. I'm just saying as a team we look good. Because Vicario's on form. Van de Ven is arguably one of the best center backs in the league. Everyone looks good.
True.
And I just hope he can keep the same 11 as he did against Copenhagen. With me personally, I would play Bentancur and Paulinho. Because I believe because Man U's going to play a two in midfield and we need dominance. We need physical bodies. And I believe Bentancur, for me, man of the match performance against Copenhagen.
I agree with that one.
This guy, that's why it pisses me off with him. He is that good. But I don't know why, again, in the big teams, big games, he just disappears. But what yesterday, no, I'm not saying yesterday, 2 days ago, he was instrumental. Tackling, possession, winning his duels, freaking carrying the ball, spreading the plays. Arguably phenomenal display. And Van de Ven, honestly, continue this way. Madrid are going to come calling in 2 years. Mark my words, is going to go to Madrid.
Dietrich, I didn't even think that was one of Van de Ven's best games, if I'm going to be honest. I'd have rated it, apart from that goal, I'd have rated him a 6 because I think Romero covered his ass big time 3 times, if I could count. I'm not saying he had a bad game, but I don't think it was a special game. But I think that goal just made it in an 11. But you're 100% right on what you're saying.
Forget about the goal.
You know what it is? Go on, Dietrich. Go on, you go, bro.
Forget about the goal. What you saw from Van de Ven is the definition of all around, like a Swiss Army knife defender. Can carry the ball, can shoot, can defend, has the speed, has the physicality, looks better in the air. He has the total full package now.
He has improved in the air, definitely, because that was his weakest point, without a doubt. He was terrible in the air.
He's not just it, mate. This is where you got to look at Frank in the short time how the player has developed with Frank and his coaching team. When when Ange left and we didn't even know who it was and then going to be, and then Frank, a lot of people and a lot of fans were like, right, now we'll find out if Van de Ven is just a speed merchant and he's that good. He gets people.
I was one of them.
He gets pace out of trouble. And I was like, do you know what? I don't think that's... I think he's going to improve, especially when Paulinho came in, because we're defending deeper, so he's not having to use his pace all the time. Like, literally, we're not so high up every single minute of the match, so he hasn't got to rely on it. He stayed fit, please God. Frank's rotating him. And also, if you've seen, I think you could probably count on one hand how many times this season Van de Ven has had to literally bust the gut and use his pace. He's using his pace
going
going
big injury,
forward.
probably, Brian. I think that was his
Exactly.
big injury problem, the way he was getting made to play. I mean, who can run back
Exactly.
from the halfway line to the box 10 times a game?
Exactly, but I will also give Ange praise for one thing with Van de Ven, not only buying him and finding him because he was the one that wanted him at Celtic, is during this hamstring time, him and the medical team obviously said, right, we need to change your style of running.
Mhm.
And that's obviously had a huge impact in it as well. So
But they did
Ange
mention something
Postecoglou-
about that, didn't they? They did mention something about that he was getting
And-
specialists with his style
that's
of running.
before
and
he
such.
came
Yeah, I
back,
remember.
before the Europa League run-in. That's what they were doing. They were changing his, like a golfer will change his swing or whatever with his coach or
Yeah.
whatever. And like, we need to find a way.
Change your
Your
technique
running
basically
style.
to an extent.
Exactly. So that's happened. But what you were saying about Van de Ven not being as good at, these two are so good together. There's been games this season where Romero hasn't been the top one out of the two, and Van de Ven has got.
Romero's very up and down for me again this season. He hasn't been nothing different.
What, Van de Ven?
No. Romero, for me, he's been pretty much the same as he's always been. He'll have 5 spectacular games and 5 crap games. I think he's pretty much been Romero, but he has looked good.
I go back. Finally, in Man City, I remember a couple of his passes being wayward and they led to chances. Mickey cleared it. But his presence, you could see, obviously, the games we missed him. You could see against Chelsea when he came on, he was like, we ain't doing this. And he was like, right, here we go. He was, apart from Vicario, our best player. And he was only on for a brief amount of time. But what they are doing, what they bring individually on their day is superb. What they bring collectively as a partnership, you look at all the great partnerships of defenders in Premier League history. It's all been building that partnership up. And those two have such an understanding now. When they are fit, available, and on it, they are right up there. And you've seen by the lack of goals we score or concede. But they have been. Van de Ven had a solid game. Romero was the better player, even with that goal yesterday. Tuesday. Dietrich, what you got me doing? Tuesday. But them two together are so important to Tottenham. I mean, I love Kevin Danso. I love him. And I also think when Radu Dragushin is back fit, he's going to be better suited to this style of defending as opposed to the high line of Ange. And then you've got that. I think Frank sometimes does want to go to a back three, but if you look at it now, he's only got Van de Ven, Romero, and Danso. If one of them pull up, we're fucked centre back wise.
I wouldn't say totally fucked centre back wise. I'd say you can still stick Paulinho there. He's already done it, but it's not a first choice as such. And then you've got Bentancur and Sai in midfield, but it's not the ideal one to do.
That's why I'm saying when Dragushin comes back, he can have a back three of Van de Ven, Romero, Danso, or Dragushin. Or if it's a big Champions League game, he could do Dragushin, Danso, and one of Romero and Van de Ven. It just opens it up. He can't risk a defender getting injured right now because obviously you want Paulinho in the middle. He's played there as a make weight in the Carabao Cup, but I think every Spurs fan would say they want to see Paulinho in midfield.
I do agree.
You got Dragushin, and then also you still got Takai to come back. Obviously, we don't know anything about him. We haven't seen him exactly, and not saying that he's going to come in and be brilliant, but when he's back as well, that's another defender. So then Frank has got the flexibility. We all talk about, one of the main things, as you know, Dan, that I loved him for, was Frank's tactical ability to mix it up, change formations. Centre-back wise, I think he's very, just like Dietrich said, Porro kind of made a third fullback. I would rather see Porro as the wing-back and have a back three of any of the... and that will allow Porro, and I will say Porro, who is absolutely appalling against Chelsea.
2 years, Brian.
Absolutely. No, do you know what? His defensive stats, Dan, he's the number one fullback in every single defence metric. What has been letting him down, especially against Chelsea, was the one thing that he's incredible at was his passing and creativity. Although against Copenhagen on Tuesday, all his passing attributes came back to being the diagonal passes, the long passes. He was back on his game on Tuesday, But do you know what it is? I know you know I've said this saying for ages: overplayed and undervalued. Porro is he just doesn't rest. He just doesn't. And that's why
he's a bad player in any way, Brian. I think he's an extremely good player. I just think we don't. I think Frank isn't playing him to his, basically playing into his abilities, and obviously Ange didn't do it either because he's not defensive minded. He's not a defensive minded player in any means or manner. He is a player that wants to get forward with his pace and power and that, and I just don't think he is a good defensive player in any means or manner because he gets focused on every team, every game without fail. Like bar maybe one or two, they always focus on him just like they did with Ange in that aspect. But with Ange, it was more like the fact that he weren't even in the fucking position because he was up that end. But overall, I think that game we looked pretty good. Some players had some very good games there. In the aspect of, yes, it was only Copenhagen. Don't get too excited. But again, we can only beat who we're playing against. Question I want to ask is one I actually forgot until someone mentioned it on the side. Johnson, red card. No. Let me ask you two this one first before we go to that one. Oh, fuck. One sec. Johnson, did he mean to score that goal or did he completely and utterly fuck up a cross?
No, he meant to score it. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
No, you know why? Because he looked up and he saw, I think it was either Odegaard or Dougie running in the box. And I can tell he didn't mean it.
No, he did.
Because one thing Brennan Johnson cannot do is shoot side netting. And trust me, he didn't mean it. Maybe he did, but he's going to say he meant it, but I don't think so. He's not that good.
I'm not having that. He could have been looking at when you say he's looking, he got brought out, dragged out wide by the goalkeeper. He could be looking to see where he is so he doesn't miss it. And he had time to look where the goal was. For me, 100%, he meant to do it. I mean, do you know what it is as well? This is what, like you said, Dad, just very quickly, this is what I'm very quickly allude to. The people that are going, it's only Copenhagen. I'm not having that because we went into this game, people going, I want to see an attacking performance. I want to see us go on the front foot. I want to see us respond to that Chelsea performance. Not one of those fans said, oh, do you know what? It's only Copenhagen. Not one. Oh, it's only Copenhagen. It's only Copenhagen. And then, like I said before, when we went to Bodo and drew, everyone slammed the performance and how poor we were. No creativity, no spark up front, no this. Norway and the Denmark league, Danish league, aren't exactly a massive threat. And then we do go put in a performance against Copenhagen, and it's like, oh, well, it's only Copenhagen. You look at teams, Ange Tamworth, Conte Mura, Jose Partizan Belgrade, and Pacos de Ferreira. Even go back to Potts when we went out on penalties to, I think it was Chesterfield or some ridiculous, Cheltenham or some ridiculous team. We drew 2-2 with Newport with other managers. I don't buy this. Listen, people could say it's only Copenhagen, but you can't use that if you are slamming the Bodo game and saying, well, we should have won that. We're not good enough. They're shit. They're in the Norwegian league. And then we do that against a Danish team who are in the Champions League, who always win their league.
I don't think they're no mugs, personally.
They're not.
I mean, it's just with that. I think a lot of people are saying...
Thanks, Jeff. Colchester, not Cheltenham.
I don't think there's many saying it's only Copenhagen. What I am saying is, yes, good result, everything, but it is Copenhagen. There's a lot better out there to do this with. If we now go and get cooked by Man U and Arsenal, that'll just about show everything, that it was only Copenhagen, yeah? But at the moment, it was Copenhagen. We can only beat who we're playing against. It was a result we definitely needed and played well during the game and looked better when Johnson got sent off, in my opinion. So we were still playing with 10 men. It's just he wasn't in the fucking way. And, yeah, but if we go and get beat by Man U and cooked by Arsenal, then you can really say it was only Copenhagen. That's how I see it. Anyway.
The other thing you've got to look at it as well is, and I said this, and some people took this wildly out of context of what I was trying to say. If you go back to Pochettino, there's a lot of people in your chat that will remember the Pochettino era.
Mm-hmm.
When Harry Kane scored that deflected free kick against Villa, the people weren't happy with him. His job was under immense pressure. And then obviously we won that game. Harry Kane went on fire. We even brought through Bentaleb and Mason. And that second half of the season, we went flying. And then the next 2 seasons, 3 seasons, we know what happened. I said, you know what? This could be Thomas Frank's version of the Aston Villa game, where this is the game where things start to turn. And people are like, oh, well, it was only Copenhagen. I'm like, no, I'm not saying the opposition or anything. That Aston Villa game was the one where we were going down this road and then we went bang with Poch. And we started tearing it up. This could be the version of what Poch had, where it's like, right, do you know what? I can play attacking football. You know what? I've broken this. I can see these players can do it. If I don't say I'm setting up just to lose, I can trust this team to go on and do that. This could be a pivotal moment for Thomas Frank, like Dietrich's alluded to. And Dietrich isn't a huge fan of him. He even said, if this could be the match and we then go on this trajectory and play this style of football, this game that we just had, people won't look back and go, oh, it was only Copenhagen. That was the game that started. So
I can understand that side.
Yeah, this is what we got to do and look at.
It's a thin borderline that we're on, though, isn't it? It's a thin borderline.
Without a doubt. But people know, now that, Dan, you've known me long enough, as has Dietrich, and as has people in your chat, I always supported my club. Always have done, always did, and always will continue to. But as you both know, and your chat, I always had 25%, 35% looking upstairs about a certain person that's no longer with us. This is the first time in 17 years where 100% of my dedication, support and everything is going towards Frank and the players. And I am enjoying being this more optimistic, positive person, because I can be, because I haven't got to worry about the negativity up there. I wanted Frank for obvious reasons.
That you know of.
No, he's got. Listen, I'm not. Listen, I don't. Do you know what? It's really good now that I only bring his name up in certain situations like this. I don't, mate. People will see I hardly mention him at all anymore. I don't want to mention him. I got the result I wanted. Now it's talking about Tottenham and going forward. And I think Spurs are in the performance. Sorry, you look at it. We're still 6th in the league, unbeaten in the Champions League, best away form at home, one of the highest scorers, one of the best defences. Yes, it's only the beginning of November. But if someone has said that to you all before a ball was kicked, forget the style of football because we didn't know, every Spurs fan would have bitten your arm off for that kind of situation. So now he's got to build on it.
No, do you know what? I can go with that, yeah? I mean, the way I've said it to people is we look okay. Simple as that. And we are doing okay. Some might say we're doing a bit better in the league in the position we are than what we should be. But then if you look at how crap some of the others have been and how up and down some of them have been, that good, that bad, that good, that bad, like us, it's round about how it should be as such. I think we've had a couple of games where we've looked good. I think we've had some games where we look fucking bad. And I think in general, okay. So what I'll say with Frank at the moment, so far, so good. But there's definitely room for big improvement. Same as there is with players like Simmons, whatever, and stuff like that. Okay, he's had a great game, but we need to see a bit more consistency of that. I do think he's going to struggle a bit in that league until the latter stages of that league because he has got to adapt to the power in it and the lack of time he has in it. Other question I'll ask you two. I forgot to ask this earlier to Mike. Johnson, red card. I've seen a lot of people go have a complete off key about that one. What do you reckon on that one, Dietrich? Red card not?
You see, because I don't like Johnson and I'm happy he got a red card. So I'm going to say it
Well,
was a red
better for
card.
us.
It was better for us. No, okay, jokes aside. I think it was a bit harsh, but according to the letter of the law, his studs were up and he caught his ankle. So it is a red card. But was it malicious? No,
No, there
but
was
it
no
was a
malice.
foul. There was no malice, but it was still foul. So it is a
And the
red
player
card,
was
yes.
past him as well, wasn't it? The player
It
was
was
actually
past him.
as well.
If he moved his leg and by accident caught him, then no. But he was still sliding towards him, so it is
He
a
went
red
for the
card.
tackle. What do you
Yes.
reckon, Brian? Because a lot of people, I think I've seen more people say it wasn't a red card than more people say it was a red card.
It's, do you know what? It's first of all, there was no need for Johnson to make that tackle. 2-0 up, the middle of the pitch, no danger. There was absolutely no need to go for that tackle. Then when we first saw the tackle on replay, when obviously he'd gone down, as soon as you got your studs up, you're in trouble. In modern day football, as soon as you've got your studs up, you are in trouble with VAR. So I think he was stupid for making the tackle. I think he was stupid going in studs up. But then when we saw the other replays, if you look at it frame by frame, as he's making that tackle with the studs up, there's no malice in it whatsoever. What's happened is the Copenhagen player has ran and put his foot there. If he'd run straight or run to the right, he just goes sliding past him. I think it's one of those, you know, when when players combine and there's no attempt to, they just run across each other. I think with his studs still up, the Copenhagen player has run into him, not intentionally. That was his direction. So I think when the tackle was actually made, it was unfair for Johnson to get sent off. But by the letter of the law, he's gone studs in, he's made contact. It has to be a red card by the letter of the law.
And plus the player was past him. There was no need to go for that tackle whatsoever. I mean, how Bentancur didn't get sent off previously.
Oh, mate, that was a blatant red card against Chelsea. Blatant.
That is the problem, isn't it? Go on, Dietrich.
But it's the same one. Do you remember when Bruno Fernandes got a red card against us? When he put his studs by accident on James Maddison?
Yeah.
That was a red card too. So no matter what you do, if you put your studs on someone's leg, it is a red card. It's going to be a red card. Yeah. But Bentancur, he was lucky.
That's an understatement, mate. That was a straight red all day long for me.
Still to this day, and it goes to show the problems we have with VAR in this country.
Yes.
There'll probably be a tackle like that next week, couple of weeks' time, where that's a red card. The referee will get called over. And that, put it this way, if that's Bentancur, if we're looking at it out of the two, Bentancur's a red card, Johnson is a yellow. Bentancur's was disgusting. It was a horrific challenge.
That could have changed a career. That challenge, as far as I'm concerned, it was that bad. I don't think it was malice, but I think the tackle was that bad. That could have done another slight angle on that. That could have easily done someone's leg. That was a bad tackle.
Yeah, and going back to Johnson, like Lynn just said, I hope you're good, Lynn, by the way. There was no need for Johnson to make that kind of tackle. 2-0 up, middle of the pitch. They're going absolutely nowhere. I don't understand what happened in his thought process to make that challenge. And we know, listen, Brennan Johnson's got a bit about him when there's a little kickoff or whatever, but he ain't got any malice in him as a player. He's not one of those players that will go in and make a reckless challenge. And now he's banned for 3 games. And there's people going, "Oh, that's a blessing in disguise." It's not a blessing in disguise. As much as people don't like him or think he's a good player, or think we can do better, which we can. We can definitely do better.
Without a doubt.
If it comes down to... If it comes... He is banned for 3 games.
No, it's 1 game. Because violent conduct is 3 games. No, because usually violent conduct is 3 games. This one...
And what do you think studs showing and making a tackle like that, it's violent conduct.
No,
He's
violent
out for 3
conduct means
games.
no, violent conduct is usually when you try to punch up someone.
He'll be out for 3 games, Dietrich.
Go watch because
whether it's whatever, we're getting now to the crux of the Champions League. If it comes to a point where we need a goal and Mawani's coming off and whatever, whether you like him or not, it's Brennan Johnson's bread and butter to just pop up and get a goal. And with our injuries and whatever, which Ange had as well, so we need Johnson. You saw that sub bench, and it had 3 people from the youth academy that I'd never even heard of. And we need that bench there. And having Johnson available, there's always a possibility of a goal. Always. His overall play and everything else, which needs a lot more to be desired. But Johnson is the one player that you would say, out of the whole squad right now, apart from Van der Ven of all people, that you'd say, do you know what? If we need a goal, he's probably the most likely source of it.
I don't mind losing Brennan Johnson because at the end of the day, it's only Champions League. And it's not like we're going to do anything about it. But one guy that was impressed, and I still don't rate him, by the way, it was Dane Scarlett. I think he had a great...
He looked pretty solid when he came on.
Honestly, forget
he
that
should have took that penalty,
wouldn't
it?
No, forget that barely played with us. He had a fantastic cameo for the couple of minutes he had. And I actually feel bad for him the name that should not be named in Richarlison took the penalty from him. So yeah, honestly, it's not like we're gonna do anything in the Champions League. So losing Brennan Johnson or losing whoever, for me, it doesn't matter. The sooner we get kicked off, the better.
Mate, listen, what I will say with that is just look at what we did with Poch when our away form was terrible. And again, one thing I will say is we need to get out of that group stage and get into the top 8 or into the next round. Because right now because right now with and I hate saying the financial rewards for it, if we want to see if ENIC mean business, if Charlie, Vivian, Vinay mean serious business, the more money that comes into this club right now, I'm giving ENIC 2 windows. I'm giving this ENIC 2 transfer windows. 2 transfer windows to show that what they're saying, what they're doing, and their actions or their words are going to be matched by their actions. And I'm going to give them those 2 windows because I don't want to be one of those. I don't want to be one of those fans, Dietrich, that should I have to start protesting again and everyone starts protesting ENIC out, blah, blah, blah. I want to say I gave them a chance. I was like, right, you said things were going to be different. Things are very different at board level with all the changes. I now want to see those changes. And I actually genuinely think we may have a good couple of windows. I genuinely think it.
It's going to be, it's not going to be until the summer that we see that, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, but I think because some people said, "Oh, buying Archie Gray was a fantastic buy," and I disagree. It all depends on the people how they see it. Because for me, if we buy, let's say, Lookman and then 15-year-old kids, for me, or let's say we buy Semenyo and 15-year-old kids, for me that's a terrible window.
I think so what is a good window? Yeah, with this window, Dietrich, I think we had a good window by quality and a bad window by quantity. Now, I know we always want to go quality over quantity as such, but we needed more. But we needed more quality and quantity as such. But obviously, you want your quantity. I mean, this just with this comment here. I mean, John, I presume that's presumed at me. Get a real job. It's a hobby, mate. That's all I can say to you, fella, is if you was to have a look at my bank account, which I wouldn't let you do, you'll understand why I do this for fun and don't have a real job. But anyway, Brian, carry on what you're saying, mate.
No, listen, when people come in and put those silly things,
it's no love lost. I was just giving him the answer he needed.
It's just for attention, and it's ridiculous. They don't know people's lives. They could be a hobby, could be a full-time job. Whether it's successful or not, it's just. Yeah, no, I'm saying it's him that's looking for attention, not you, buddy. But yeah, going back to the window, I think in January we bring in one game changer. One.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if we bring in one, let's just say we bring in a game changer, and let's say an Ivan Toney, a Vlahovic on loan, whatever. This is just spitballing. Like one player, it could be the game changer of a striker, but I think we get our game changing striker in the summer. If we get, let's just say, a very good left winger, I think they pull out the bag and bring in one quality player in January. And if then you get in, and I mean quality player, and then if you bring in a couple of loans, i.e. an Ivan Toney, Vlahovic, and then you get a player or two out the door, for me, that is a very successful January. A very successful
Even getting
January.
a good player in January is successful because it's the hardest time to bloody do it. But
exactly.
On this January, I think it could be easier, especially to get a quality player on loan who needs game time because we got the World Cup coming up right next to it and
exactly
wants game time. It's all ifs, buts and maybes and everything, who, if, what, where, when. But it's definitely a time where you can have a better January window than you usually can of having to pay 80 million for a player that's worth 50 million, basically, because it is January.
100%. 100%. And I will say what we did with Levy, and you look at it, and Dietrich mentions Archie Gray, who I do think will come good, by the way. I really do. I really, really do think he'll come good. But what we've done is we've bought players like him, like Solanke, who will pay overinflated prices for because we can put them on lower wages.
Yeah,
that's always been the mantra. We'll buy. We don't mind overpaying on the transfer fee because we'll make that kind of money back because we put them on a lower wage salary. I think Spurs bring in a player. It could be a Lookman, for example. We could finally go and get Lookman. But Dan, you are spot on with this window in January. There are going to be a lot of players around the world that are on the fringes of their first team and on the fringes of the national team, or maybe even a regular in the national team. But now it's World Cup time, and they want regular first team football.
They need
with the
game
incentive. If I'm playing regular football and I can get into a good frame of form, or my head coach, manager of my national team sees me playing regular football, I've got a better chance getting into the World Cup squad. So I think the loan market, this window,
is there.
Mate, I think the loan market would
be the more sensible one to go for than the actual buying market. That's my opinion.
Unless it's someone like an Ademola Lookman. But the worry with Ademola Lookman, I believe, is he will. I believe there's an AFCONs this year. I'm not 100% sure. I think there is, but if there is, he's gone. So bringing in a Lookman will make sense, but you're not going to have him for January.
Him and the manager don't seem to get on. Him and his manager don't seem to like each other too much, from what I've seen.
It looks like a real bit of fallout there. But I think in the loan market, like you said, absolutely spot on, Dan, is the loan market is going to be flooded with players on the fringe of their national team that want the first team football to get. Mate, do you know what, Ghosted brother? If we sign Paulinho, but if we sign Paulinho permanently, I don't count that as though we're bringing in one of quality because he's here already. I want this side.
Sign Paulinho and go and get another loan, basically.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I think Spurs get this done and sign another player. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Paulinho, mate. I want Paulinho signed as soon as possible. But if we make it official in January, I think Spurs still go out and bring in another quality player. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one, but it's definitely a window where I think the loan would definitely be better going for as such, because I think there's quite possibly by the time it comes to January, at least two other players out there of standard as such for Spurs team that we can go and get on loan. Because for me, it hasn't all got to be bloody buys. Summer, yes, mainly buy. with a loan. Totally get that, yeah. But in January, when you need certain players for certain positions because you've got injuries or you need your left wing to be better or whatever else, if you can't get the man you want, go and get a fucking loan to someone who is better than what you've got there. Now, people, I mean, for me, why we did not get Jack Grealish, I don't fucking know, yeah? A lot of people said he ain't good enough for Spurs now, whatever else. Like, shut up. Grealish, we would... Why we did not do that, I do not know. He's 10 times better than anything we have on the left.
I will say, Dan, one thing I will say with this is, or two things. I was at Everton away, and we kept Grealish quiet all game. Don't get me wrong, he's played very well for Everton, very, very well for Everton. But the big thing, and what Everton have done, compared to what, and we know we wouldn't have done it, is Manchester City refused to pay any of the wages, and if they did, it was a very small percentage. So Everton have gone there and gone, do you know what, we need this player, we've moved to the new stadium, we need my God, this is an X-Factor player. Under Levy and whatever, there was no way we were going to pay his 300 grand a week wages. Well, we've just put Romero on 190. It was never, that's the reason we didn't go for him, because Man City at the time were like, we're not covering any of his wages, you take him.
If that is the reason, it makes sense. It does make sense.
Exactly.
Levy was still there as well in that aspect.
Exactly.
I mean, we can all go into that. Why didn't they just fuck him off before the window started and everything? But that's all just that's all a different story in the chat we've all had that we will never, ever, ever know the real story to it. When we've come up with the stories and chats about it, one of us has probably got it right, but you will just never know. I mean, this is going to be an interesting one as well with what Ghosted said. I mean, I've got another 15 minutes before Beth gets back, and Ghosted, we all know we leave it till January the 30th and start getting players. Again, I said at the start, and I said the minute Levy left, is we are only going to really know how much ENIC, this club, actually means business when it comes to the next window, and especially the summer window, transfer. That is when we're going to really know how they meet. I mean, at the moment, they can say what the fuck they want, and you just have to take it hook, line, and sinker at the moment. Pinch of salt, take it how you want, but we don't know. If we leave it to the last minute in January again, then I think we start looking at it and thinking, where is the real problem? And then you've got to wait until, obviously, summer, until the will window comes in. But I think he makes a point there is if we do leave it till the 30th, people are going to start asking some serious questions. Yeah.
I mean, look, what I will say with that, it goes to... Go on, Dietrich, you go first. I've been speaking. You go.
No, just quickly. You see the one thing that we need to take into account, we have Fabio Paratici. And do you remember when we had him in the summer, we were linked to 100 players. With him, I think we're gonna act extremely quick because he knows how to negotiate, and I'm pretty sure he already wrote a list of the players he wants. Is it the players that we want? That's a different question. But I do believe this time we're gonna get players by middle of January.
I think that's a fair point.
I'll touch on what Ghosted said first, then I'm going to go into what Dietrich just mentioned with Paratici. If you look at it, yes, we are notoriously late in the market. We look at it with Tel and Danso last season. I think Danso's an overwhelming success. Obviously, Tel, not so much. We've had the windows with Kulusevski and Bentancur, where I was protesting at the training ground. We had the Porro debacle, but you got to remember as well, a couple of years ago, whether we like the signings or not, Spurs moved very quick in the 1st January to get Timo Werner. Spurs moved very quickly to get Dragusin. That was all wrapped up by the 10th of January. But predominantly, completely agree, we always leave it late. Then what I will say, like you said, when it comes to ENIC, and everyone going, oh, it's still ENIC. For me, it's not. It is by name and by default, but the ENIC we've been used to is Joe Lewis, Donna Cullen, Daniel Levy. Now it's Vivian, who I know wants success on the football pitch. She's wanted it for ages. Does that mean we're spending 100 millions? Don't know. But I do know she's football first, business second. Charlie, don't know about. Then you've got Paratici, and you've got Vinay. Then you look at it like Dietrich said with Paratici. Paratici, I so wholeheartedly believe, was having to bring in the players he did because of Levy's budget. There's no way, if he was still at Juventus, he would have brought in Emerson Royale, Brian Hill, Galini. Juventus would have laughed at him. Juventus would have gone, I don't even think those names would have entered the equation. I do think Spurs, when Levy left, I said, the only way Enid can make a difference, like you rightly said, until January, is show that they mean business with footballing matters. Now, if Van der Ven signs his contract, which I do believe he will do before Christmas, and he gets paid on the wages, that he should be right up there with Romero, in my opinion, right up there. If they get that done, they've also been a lot more open with us, the fans. They've also brought Paratici back. They've also appointed this guy from the medical team. People were saying, oh, they won't put a penny in, they won't put a penny in. They put 100 million. Then you get, 100 million doesn't even touch the size to the big boys. Enoch said initial investment, which is a key word, initial. And when you are doing these transfer deals, 100 million, remember, you pay these transfers now in installments, yearly, whatever. It's not,
it's always been like that, basically. For many, many years, it's been like that. You pay a certain
unless you're paying a release fee
for 5 years.
If you're paying a release fee, then you're paying a massive majority of it up front. A massive. I'll pick up Brian Maguire, brother. Then you're paying it. So one of the ways Enid can come out and make a statement now, I think all the moves they've made related to football, they're doing all the right things. So far, they can't do any. Like I said, the things we're hearing, we're not hearing about concerts right now, or boxing, or come and have a sky walk and blah, blah, blah. It's been, right, we bought Paratici back. We've put 100 million in. We've hired this guy that's got a huge medical background to come and work under Paratici and Ange. So football-wise, they are making the right moves. I can't complain anything about the moves they're making football-wise. January, like you said, Dan, like you said, Dietrich, is where it's the first instalment if we see they mean business. It's the first, and I actually think we do make a player signing early. I reckon we make a player signing within the first week. Because I think Paratici, did you see the other day or the other month, Frank said, me, Paratici, Lange, Vinay, we've had a meeting about what we need and I want to address this front line. So those meetings, remember we used to hear in January, Ange, Conte, whatever. Levy went off to the Bahamas with Conte. And it was like, we haven't even made a list. We haven't had that the conversations are being had. So it's great to hear they're being had. It's great to see they're being had. Now we come and see once that window opens. And like I said, if we bring in Paulinho, I think it's a given. But if we go and bring in just one game changer, obviously we'd want like more, or first team like Premier proven, or a player that's at a very high standards. Immediately, it's a more successful window than we've ever had in January. Immediately. So I think this window, they want to come out and say, right, things are different and this is how we're going to prove it. Then it's whether they follow through with it in the summer. Then that's the next big one. Okay, they done it in January. Could that have been to show the fans we mean business, but we don't really? And in January, summer, we'll go back to quantity over quality. But I think January, Spurs do make a big move. I really, really do.
Well, it is that thing that if they don't do something in January, they pretty much lose that fan base straight away. Because the questions will come out of it.
I don't think they lose it in January.
A lot of questions will get fucking
there you go. That there will be. If they don't have big in January, people will be like, oh, God, is it really? Have we been duped again?
That's what I mean.
Have we? Yeah, I don't think they'll lose the fan base because obviously January's a hard window and whatever. But I also believe that January maybe isn't a hard window. If you're going for a big player from a lesser club or Europe and he's really going to be impactful on the team, they're like, right, it's 50 million for whoever it is. I'm not even going to mention a player. We've spent so long going, all right, we'll give you 20 and then we'll give you this, and then whatever. I will hope Spurs go in. Let's just say it's a £50 million player. They start off by bidding 40 or 42 and a half, 45. And then they're like, no, come back with 50. Then you're like, okay, go for it. We lost so much time with Levy's negotiation tactics, which were extinct. And this is it. You got to remember now, so many clubs didn't want to deal with Levy because of how he's treated them on either us buying a player or them taking a player.
He was probably the most despised person to deal with in football. It's like even Fergie said it many years ago. I never want to deal with this prick again, basically, didn't he? Exactly.
I always say, with the transfer system now, it's about building relationships for both having a smooth player exit that a team wants, and also acting correctly with a buying club, like when we're trying to buy a player. Daniel Levy, rather than building relationships, he always burned bridges because he always thought he had to win. No matter what, he had to win the negotiation. No matter what, he had to come up on top and go, ha, I fooled you, got you. That's not the way to do business anymore. You got to remember, when Daniel Levy and all this transfer window started, ENIC back in the day was one of the biggest earners or had the most income from what they do. There's billionaires in football now, where 100 million is like money down the sofa to them. And they'll spend it. Whereas Daniel and ENIC in the past, who have been very affluent and still are affluent, but not compared to the big guns, have gone, right, we want this player, we're going to offer you 50% of his value and then build up. It's a massive January for this club. And like you're right, Dan, if we don't bring in a player of quality and pedigree and established, not one for the future, potential, whatever, one that is an established footballer at his club, blah, blah, blah. If we don't, there will be like, oh my God, here we go. They had their first opportunity to tell us.
I think they will lose a majority of the fan base straight away that has got not necessarily excited, but okay, let's see how this goes then. They don't do that. I see the majority of the fan base turning. Nothing's fucking changed, especially with Spurs supporters. I mean, the thing is with Levy, and I still stick by this hook, line, and sinker, is sometimes I totally get that with a window, there's more than one side to it, yeah? With a transfer, there's more than one side to it. But if you don't put the fucking money on the table, you ain't going to get what you want. And how many players have we left out on because he has pissballed about with 5 million here, 2 million there, 10 million, whatever, when we could have literally just gone, there's the fucking money, let's get to the next bit of the deal. Whether that's a latter part of the deal, early part of the deal, whatever. How many times have we lost out because he has pissed about with the money? Sometimes put your fucking money on the table, wear your money where your mouth is, whether that's the latter part of the deal, first part of the deal, whatever. But when it comes to that part of the deal, we have lost out many a time down to the fact that he didn't put the money on the table. Player interested, sorted out wages, this and that, pissballed about with it. Club even said, you know what, can't be bothered now, fuck off. Or another club came in and went, there's the money, and see you later, baked potato. And that's happened to us several times. If you don't put the money down and you wind them up too much, they will only end up selling if they have to. You know, if there's other options, or they'll even just turn it down like others have and said, you know what, just don't even want to do business with you, prick. Do one. And that's what's happened many a times as well. If you don't pay up, you don't get what you want. Correct. And it is a big part of it. It's not the only part of it. I understand that. But again, if you don't pay your way, people don't want to know. People don't want to deal with someone who's like, I totally get the point on the business side. Yeah, if you could save yourself 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, whatever, I get it. But when it's costing you so much, you've got to start taking a look at it and thinking, well, this really ain't working. And
you're right. I mean, Dan, do you think, and I wonder what the chat think as well, and Dietrich's, just simple yes or no, do you think January will bring in at least one quality player? Minus Paulinho. Don't count Paulinho because he's on deal. So Paulinho signed, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Do you think Daniel Levy, ENIC, Tottenham's 2.0, whatever you want to call it, do you think in January we will sign a quality player? Don't know the position, whatever, Do we think, you, Dan, you, Dietrich, in the chat, I think we do.
Do you
Go on,
know what?
Dietrich.
I'm the most negative when it comes to anything that Enoch does or the Spurs done. But you know what? After watching a couple of games and the cameraman was filming Vivian and her brother in the stand celebrating, like being engaged with the fans and the team, I honestly do believe they're gonna surprise us. As much as I know, I'm probably gonna hurt myself like being this hopeful. I do think that we're gonna kick on under them, and when I say kick on, we're gonna start spending at least probably like this January and this summer, like at least 300 million.
It's not even what we spend; it's the wages as well, isn't it?
Not in quality.
It's the wages
too. In
It's
quality.
the
Yeah.
I know that, but it's the wages that have got to go up a few standards as well. I personally think I don't think we're going to get a quality player in January, but I don't think we're going to get I mean, everyone has their own different standards of how you call a player. Yeah, for me, a quality player is up there when you're coming to top standards and then world class. Yeah, I think we will see a good player. And for me, I'll be happy with a good player because that is something we do lack in certain positions. I totally get the meaning. I'm just saying how I see it from a slightly different
what
view.
I'm saying, when I say quality, I'm not saying elite world class. What I'm saying is a player comes in that instantly is a first teamer.
A good
not
established player. A good established player.
I'm not talking world class. I'm saying, yeah. That's where I am. I genuinely think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go to. Basically, I think we will see a good established player, and I think there's more chance that we get it on loan than we actually buy him. Yeah, I'll be happy with that. I'll be fine with that. And then because I would rather do that than just buy some substandard crap again to try and fill the place. I mean, it's really going to be hard to get better than or tell now. But realistically, I don't want a player that's a little bit better than them. I want a player that walks into that first team, not because he's necessarily better than Tel or Odegaard, which ain't fucking hard, because he is significantly good enough to get it to walk into that team, basically. That's what I want to see. And yes, I think we also still need somebody in the middle as well, personally. But how it usually goes with Spurs, like I've said, it's usually one or the other. So if we're going to carry on playing with a 4-2-3-1, then we definitely need that left winger. If when we get the defenders back, he decides to go with a 3-4-2-1, I'd say we need that midfielder more than we need that left winger, because then we're more than covered on the left-hand side, is the way I personally see it. It's all going to depend on how the injuries go and how much we've got in January and what Frank actually intends to do. So again, if we go 3 at the back, I say we need that centre more than we do an out-and-out left winger as such, yeah? But if we're going to stick with 4-2-3-1, I think we need that left winger more than that centre mid. We need both, but when do you ever really see Spurs go for both? So I'm not going to get my hopes up for both. Maybe we're going to be fucking lucky and we see both of them come in now. Who knows? Only time will tell on that one. But I do think we will see something, and I think there's more chance that we get it on loan, basically. And I'll be happy with that. As long as at the end of the season, if he turns out that good that we buy him, or if he turns out he's been all right, we pass him off and go and buy a very good player there. That's how I see it.
You know what? You know what, Dan? This is the next part of it, because first of all, if we just bring in loans, high quality, let's say Ivan Toney or Dusan Vlahovic or whatever, then you're going to have a section of the fan base going, "Oh my God, we didn't spend any money." But it's like, well, wait a minute. We could go big in the summer, but we have bought in quality, not shitty loads like Werner. We bought quality in. But then, do you know what's bugged me all season? The whole season, once the window closed, I was like, we desperately need a left winger. That's what we've got to address in January. That's the number one position. Then I saw we weren't really scoring, and Mawani was unfit, Solanke was unfit. Then I was like, do you know what? We need a striker. Striker is the main position we need. Then, before Wednesday, when we saw how we played more offensively, I was like, do you know what? No, it's not a striker we need. We need like a Morgan Gibbs-White, because we need that ball carrier and progressor who will cover all the ground, or a Conor Gallagher or an Adam Wharton. So I was like, we need a central midfielder. Now, after Wednesday and after the performance, you remember when I came on and I said, do you know what? Destiny is key. Destiny is key. I actually think what we need, not saying it's the number one, but I think we play so much better with a left-sided left-back. I would love us to go get a left-back. So if Destiny isn't fit, we don't go back to Spence and a right footer and the balance and the whole style of play and checking in. And I think a left-back is really important now. I can't work out. Again, it's open to interpretation. I wonder what the chat think of Dietrich. I went from left winger to striker to a number 8. Now I'm kind of a left back. And if we were, and this player, if we signed him, I'd be over the fucking moon, would be Anthony Robinson from Fulham. I would absolutely love it. And then you look at it, you've got like the Trippier, Walker, Davies, Rose. Porro and Spence can fight out for right back all day long and be used sparingly or whatever the opposition is. And then you're not relying, if Destiny's unfit, we've lost all the balance. So now I'm thinking a left back is the most important position, but only if it's someone of Anthony Robinson's quality or higher. You're on mute, bro.
Yeah, my bad. I get where you're coming from. I think it just does basically all come down to what Frank wants to do by January, or what Frank can do by January.
Or injuries.
I mean, you know, it all depends. I mean, one, I'm still very interested of when he comes back, how we're going to see us playing that. Keep an eye on Dragusin when he comes back, because he's now going to get played the way he should be played at football, basically like Danzo. I think we are definitely going to see a better player with him there. And when we get solid at the back, it wouldn't surprise me if we go 3 at the back, whatever else than that. I just think it depends how things are going in January. And a lot of it can come down to what injuries we still have or whatever else basically we have. It all depends on what we can do and get the best out of it. If we're going to go for a 4-2-3-1, then without a doubt, a left winger is exactly what we need. I know we need more than that, but again, I don't really ever see us go for more. Get us a whole pack of what we need. Like, we didn't just need Simmons, we needed someone else in that. But I did say we'll only go for 1. So what do we need more, basically? So I think with that one, only time's going to tell, basically. And hopefully this one goes for the better. So last thing I'm going to say, so much for a fucking short show. I always do this every time I say that. Mrs. coming. Brian, going to see you anytime soon?
Yeah, well, first of all, I will say we've got to remember as well, come January, like him or not, or we can't find a right position, Dejan Kulusevski's back, which will be massive for the squad. Massive, whether he starts or we have someone of that quality on the bench.
I think we've
coming back. Oh, mate, there's games where, like I was saying, with Morgan Gibbs-White or whatever, a ball carrier, that's what we've got to look at as well. Kulusevski will be back, whether he fits into the system immediately or whatever. So that might stop the midfielder in January. Yeah, you'll find me on Tottenham on Tour tomorrow. I am at We Are Tottenham TV HQ for the Manchester United watch along. And yeah, I'll be about that. And I must say, it is honestly great to be streaming with you again and be back on your great channel.
Appreciated. Thank you very much, mate. It's appreciated. So obviously, probably everyone who knows it anyway, go and give a like and subscribe to Brian, even though I bet you 9.9 times out of all the people on here already know it, but still go and do it. And all right, then, Dietrich, see you later, mate. If it was as simple as that, I was going to say goodbye. But right, thanks for Mike for coming on earlier. Thanks for everyone watching. It is appreciated. Been a bit of a long one, I know. Every time I seem to say it's going to be a fucking short one, it ends up being 3.5 hours, and I've already got the wife. Yep, standing behind the door. And yeah, thanks for everyone. Don't ask it much. Give us a quick like and subscribe. Be much appreciated. And everyone, have a good afternoon. See you later.
Take it down. and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. Give it to me like